Charity. Charles, I went here too. What? Where? Up there. He's okay, though.
Liam, can you see if there's a paramedic up there yet?
Okay, on it.
Yeah, explosion. Is everyone all right?
The driver didn't make it.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 390 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that's got a brand new combine harvester, and I'll give you the key, as long as you keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. I'm Gavin.
And I've already watched 16 movies this year.
You insist that you're not, but you always seem to be approaching this like it's a competition.
It's a competition with myself.
Is it? What have you done to your arm?
What? Remember?
That was a boo-boo?
That was a boo-boo when I cleaned the sinks and somehow got caught cleaning the sinks and didn't feel it until I noticed the blood gushing down my arm.
I was expecting to see like a scratch or a cut, but that's more of a graze.
More like a gash. A small
Steady,
gash.
Steady.
Small gash, but it's definitely not a graze. Because it's like relatively, it's deeper than a scratch. But it's not in a line, it's a lump.
My
or a
best friend
hole.
Brandon has a black dot on his thumb.
A blood,
Blister?
yeah.
I don't know. I kept meaning to say something to him. What's that on your thumb?
Uh-huh.
But it seemed intrusive.
Yes,
So
probably.
So I didn't.
Oh, that's good.
I just saved it to tell you here.
That's good. Yeah, I finally watched Adolescence.
Oh, what'd you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You did?
Yeah, it was not as triggering as I expected it to be. It's so funny. You know, I expected to not like Titane because everybody's like, oh, it's so gross. It's such horrible body horror stuff. And I was like, this feels relatively mild, all things considered. And then I watched Talk to Me, which I expected to be horrified because it breaks the rule of harming children. But that seemed fine as well. I don't know if I'm just becoming immune to being horrified because the world is much more terrifying than the movies.
Yeah, we have been to see quite a few horror movies of late.
Yeah.
Desensitizes you.
Yeah.
We'll get you to Terrifier 4 this year or next year.
No, that's just, that doesn't feel like it has any merit, whereas the other things did.
No, it doesn't.
I can find merit in Titane and, or Talk to Me.
Well, boo-boo aside, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. You know, I've been busy working away and stuff and trying, now that I'm feeling better, trying to get back to keeping the house relatively tidy, which is nice. It was awful because like we got home and I was really sick and, you know, there was this pile of stuff that we got out of the car that just sat there for a week because I wasn't well enough to.
Well, I put some of it away, but there was some of it that I had no idea where it was supposed to go.
Right. And I finally got Nick's presents to him last night. So those
I'm
bags
sure
are out
he'll
of
be
the way.
thrilled by that.
Yeah. And I didn't even explain the whole Kaylin cookie mix. So he'll have to figure that out by himself.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention that to him when I picked him up from the airport last week. Because we mentioned on the podcast that you were going to be going.
Right, yes. And you went instead because you're a good husband.
Yeah.
And I had to sit for 4 hours in Detroit the night before. Whereas you, lucky duck, you got the kid who was on the fast plane.
You're the tailwind. Well, it was my first week back at work, thanks for asking. And it is the most depressing week to be at work. Round about I think January the 7th is generally agreed to be the worst day of the year.
Well, it definitely
Especially
was.
if you get paid monthly.
It definitely was this year.
Don't watch the news.
I don't watch the news. but I am on social media.
What are you doing? Why are you doing this to yourself?
I'm not the one who's still on Twitter, so I don't want to hear it.
I just now see Corrie things, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I've got a very aggressive policy on Twitter. Just restrict it right down.
That's the way to go.
That's the way to go. We have an enormous amount to get through.
We
this
do.
week, so
We
I'm
do.
going to
It
suggest
feels overwhelming to have such a crazy full week.
only a half hour extra, but it feels much more than
right,
that.
yeah, because there's a lot going on.
We had more the previous week, with an extra hour the previous week. So this is actually a quieter week
Isn't that crazy?
in terms of content. I just want to shout out that on Wednesday, I was a guest on the Coronation Street podcast.
Uh-huh.
It hasn't been released yet. I'm wondering if Ali has realised the terrible error that she made by inviting me on. But if she hasn't, I assume that will be dropping shortly, in which I express very much the same opinions that I'm going to express in this podcast.
Yeah, still.
It was good fun. It was nice to chat to Ali.
Yeah, usually it's me who gets asked to these things. So it's fun. It was fun for you to do it for once.
Yeah, I get out. I get to put on my fancy clothes.
You get to sit on this side.
All right, shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that farmer Corrie news. He was worrying my sheep.
Rest in peace to Tony Little, a.k.a. our beloved kebab guy who died over the Christmas holidays.
I was so sad.
Yay. We've been wondering where he was.
I was really worried that something like this had happened because we last saw him last Christmas. So that was when I noticed him last. He was in Gail's penultimate episode. He walked by her as she was shouting up to Jessie that she wanted to get married after all.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was Adam Blease, the guy who plays Dirk from The Factory.
Oh, yeah.
He let me know.
Aw, which is nice of him.
It was nice of
I
him.
haven't seen Dirk in a while.
Seen him a couple of times. He had a couple of lines a few weeks ago.
Did he?
At the factory party, I think.
Shows how much I pay attention.
Well, that's a standard boilerplate caveat that we can put to everything.
Sorry, Dirk.
But yeah, I'm just really, really sad to hear that. I mean, I was compiling the old kebab guy clips for a few years, but with nothing but love.
Right.
Because he just looked like the nicest old man.
Right.
The sweetest character you could possibly
He
meet.
was a clean old man.
And by all accounts, that's exactly what he was in real life. He had like a 70-year career in showbiz. There's practically no one who's involved in TV of a comedic variety that probably hasn't worked with him or knows of him.
Uh-huh.
A very well-known face.
Absolutely.
And but the amusing thing about it is it's been picked up by, my tweet about it has been picked up by Metro and Daily Express, and they both refer to him, aka Old Kebab Guy.
Right.
And I think I'm the only person, or we're the only people that called him that.
No, because I remember one time that when you posted the compilation, there were people who were like, "Oh, I love Old Kebab Guy. Mm-hmm. He's such a comforting place." It's kind of like the posts that demand a return of Fish Guy.
Yeah, that's never happening.
No.
That was probably about 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Tony Little. I'm glad that we spotted him.
Yeah.
And hopefully maybe made more people aware of not only him, but some of the other interesting background non-speaking characters that are in the show that crop up every now and again.
Yeah.
And
Like shocked, offended lady.
Because sometimes what the background people are doing is far more interesting than what the foreground people are doing.
Well,
Not this week, though.
not this week, no. Corriedale provided the highest soap audience in 3 years to both Coronation Street and Emmerdale. The episodes leading up to the main event were 3.9 million for Coronation Street and 3.6 million for Emmerdale. And the Corriedale itself had 4.7 million viewers. So,
That's going to encourage them to do this again.
right, yes, because it's not going to last.
And when they do it again, can we get the portmanteau right?
Right.
Because it's not Corriedale. It's Corriedales. It's plural. Because what we're doing is we're taking the nickname of both shows. We're taking Corrie and we're taking the Dales and we're smooshing that together to make Corriedales. I've been calling it Corriedales from the start.
Right.
And then when I saw it written down this week, I was like, why is everybody just calling it singular Corriedale? That sounds awful.
Well,
It should be Corriedales. Let's campaign right now for the portmanteau to be right.
well, Corriedale is better than some of the suggestions I've seen for Coronation Street.
Yeah, that's the German version.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure we'll pump up an audience for a couple of months and then it will wane again because that's how these things work, right?
Well, it's come at a really interesting time, not by accident,
No.
when Coronation Street is going to the half-hour episodes.
Right.
And that is something that I'm going to be applauding
Right.
quite a bit in the blog this week because I think it's made such a difference to the show.
Right. Yeah. And finally, Kate Brooks' bloodlust knows no end. As she reveals there will be another death on Corrie in February. She didn't say who it is, but if she wants any feedback from me, I have a list.
She has, but I don't know if you've seen the method in which this is going to be revealed.
Like through a dartboard?
Might as well be through a flash forward.
Oh, yes. Yes. I am so not interested in a flash forward because I also hate flashbacks. So I decided not to include that.
Yeah, seems to be really jumping on the EastEnders bandwagon for the 6 that they dedicated an entire year to that was deemed to be pretty successful, I think, by most accounts.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's Corrie News.
It's Corrie News. Well, we will flash forward just a millisecond in time to the feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic. Adrian writes, went to watch the Panto in Blackpool just before Christmas, and it was good to see Rob Donovan had fully recovered from his fall and surgery as he played the villain in Beauty and the Beast. One imagines that Rob Donovan was very much the Beast.
One would hope.
Then Dave writes, Dear Thingamajig, and what's his name? No, I think we agreed that I was what's his name.
Yes.
As Oscar Wilde said to Summer, to lose one dad may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose 3 dads looks like carelessness.
Yes.
After weeks of dreading Corriedales, I found that I loved it. And for years of wishing Billy would go, when you finally did, I wished that he'd stayed to save Todd. Poor old Todd. Also, I really loved Lisa arresting Becky, which was a lovely reveal.
Yes.
That said, if they kill David off, I think I might stop watching altogether. Those are my initial thoughts anyway. Keep up the great work. I do love your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. And I was pleased to see that David is indeed
Alive.
okie dokie.
For the moment.
This seems like a good place to tell you how much I appreciate the work you put into the show, and a special thanks to Helen these 2 weeks for powering through with the flu.
Thank you. Yes. It was my one vigorous activity of the week, of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Apparently this is a thing that's been really going around.
Yeah, everybody's been complaining about it at work.
Yeah. Still got a little bit of a tickle. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I'm good. How are you?
Still a bit achy in my bones, but my congestion has cleared up.
Well, that's good.
I feel like I'm just holding it off enough.
Right. Yep.
We'll see what happens this weekend. Wendy writes, I watch both shows, and I know if you don't watch both, there's moments that won't make sense, but I think it was a good attempt. For me, the cheeky moments worked well. The Charity and Carla elevator scene revealed more chemistry than Team Swarla. We'll get letters, Wendy. We'll get letters. I think Carla needs to take a drive to the Woolpack for a drink. I was wondering how Jay driving the van was going to mix with his old cast from the Cobbles. And now I have to look up his old character. Also, I never thought I would be sad about Billy, but the flames behind Theo in that scene were so 70s Omen style. I think Theo needs to be checked to see if he's got a tattoo under that bad haircut.
Especially since, Billy was reciting the Lord's Prayer throughout.
I was only surprised that he knew it. Too many thoughts. I will watch again. I think I've watched it 3 times now. I think both cast actors brought some really great acting to this. P.S. I'm so glad that Tyrone wasn't in this crash too.
Yeah. That would suck because he's just now got his legs back. Sort of.
Yeah. Oh, the irony.
Yeah.
Is it irony?
No.
Probably not.
Anyway.
Well, Shema says, as many of your correspondents no doubt will, I feel compelled to contact you after watching Corriedales. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Didn't bother me that I didn't really understand the Emmerdale stuff, although I did watch it years ago and I knew some of the cast. Laughed out loud when Swain slapped the cuffs on Becky. Mm-hmm. A great touch. Loved Steve recognising Vic and loved the interaction between Ken and Eric Pollard. Was it just me or did they seem to know each other or have a mutual friend? Cried when Summer collapsed into Todd's arms and can't bear that Todd seems to have no escape from the awful Theo. About Carl putting Debbie in the driver's seat. Boo.
Boo.
There was apparently a recent driver swap storyline in EastEnders. There was definitely a driver swap incident fairly recently in The Archers. The aftermath of that story is still ongoing with the perp just released from jail and having a difficult time back in the community. It seems soap story writers don't have many original thoughts, but I think we already knew that. Mm-hmm. Having just watched Wednesday's episode, I had to come to say that I thought it was a tour de force. Great acting by them all, nothing melodramatic or over the top, just brilliant. I mean, the Shona sister thing's a bit silly, but I'll allow it.
The thing that I forgot to mention when I was talking about adolescence, which was the reason why I brought it up, in fact, was there's a part in episode 3 of Adolescence where the boy is shouting about how he doesn't understand why he's in the STC, which made me laugh. But then also...
Did he say that? The Stabby Teenage Centre?
Yeah, because it's a secure training center. Because that's where he's at. He's in an FCC. But then also he's like, I don't understand why I'm here. Everybody here is crazy. They're constantly shouting. They're shouting at Coronation Street. Every time Steve McDonald shows up on the screen, they start shouting. And that made me laugh so much in this episode that's like really intense and really sad and very...
The third one, yes, very intense.
Right. So I enjoyed the kind of break to laugh about people screaming at Steve McDonald's face.
It's strange to pick on Steve, though. I mean, Daniel's right there.
Yeah, I think they wanted to pick someone
who everybody knows.
Right, yeah.
Cheeky writes, if Coronation Street's first week of 30-minute episodes was meant to prove the show still knows how to swing big, then mission mostly accomplished. The Corrie-Emmerdale tonal crossover was genuinely audacious, and against all odds, it worked. That sense of dread hasn't been this effective in years, and credit where it's due, the atmosphere was spot on. But ambition doesn't excuse recklessness. Billy discovering that Todd had been abused by Theo was a powerful and necessary revelation, and then the show immediately undercut it by turning the aftermath into yet another death. Abuse narratives do not require collateral damage to be important. Becky Swain finally being locked up is long overdue, but I'm not buying this as closure. If the show treats this as a neat resolution instead of the start of a more psychological phase, that'll be a real misstep.
Well, it seems like it's not a misstep.
Right. Harper's birth delivered the best piece of character work Corrie has done in ages. David Platt was loving, calm, emotionally present and genuinely paternal. No gimmicks, no regression, no punchline.
Except for a robot baby.
Yep. And that really wasn't his fault.
No.
The introduction of another one of Shona's relatives, though, currently feels like excess baggage rather than a clear narrative necessity. So yes, this was a strong, confident launch for a risky format change. The pace is tighter, the tone sharper, and when the show trusts character over catastrophe, it soars. But Corrie still can't resist undercutting its best work with unnecessary deaths, muddy logic, and shock tactics that cheapen the very stories it's trying to tell. The 30-minute era has potential. Whether the writers have the restraint to live up to it remains the real question. Well, thank you very much for that. It almost feels like we don't need to bother with a podcast now, Cheeky, but we will carry on anyway. But thank you, Cheeky. Thank you to Welsh Emma, to Wendy, to Trish, to Dave, and to Adrian for their correspondence this week. We very much appreciate it. I meant to ask you to go to the P.O. box.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Feedback's always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. Or we love it when people write actual letters to us and we can be bothered to go and check the P.O. Box. Send your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity. And now we'll podcast for coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Friend of the podcast.
Welcome aboard, Gary Heatley.
Welcome, Gary.
Gary is our new and latest friend of the podcast.
Woohoo!
Joining through Ko-Fi. Thank you, Gary. Gary doesn't leave any message, so we can just assume.
That he likes what we do.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
And he hasn't just clicked on the wrong button.
Yeah. That happens.
It is possible. Thank you very much, Gary. We hope you enjoy the bonus content that friend of the podcast affords you. Bonus content such as the Talk of the Street spoiler alert
Spoiler alert.
and the Talk of the Street classics.
Yes.
We need to start thinking about what we're going to be doing for our February classic. Maybe something a little bit romantic, perhaps.
Isn't it romantic?
We will see. But thank you, Gary. We really do appreciate your support. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes. But if you think a show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation, or if you want more weekly and monthly content like Gary's just got, here's your options. Sign up to be a friend of the podcast for as little as $2 a month. Sign up at patreon.com/the Talk of the Street, ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street, or hit the join button on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/the Talk of the Street podcast. Friends of the podcast get access to things that I've already mentioned. And if that wasn't enough, you can also get a shout out at the end of every podcast and your name on the credits on the flagship show.
It makes you an executive producer.
Of sorts.
Yes.
If you prefer something a little less formal, though, you can buy us next week's coffee by going to ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street, and all of these links can be found at linktree/Corrie Podcast. Remember, though, you can always support the podcast for free. Get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. What are you drinking?
Ruby red grapefruit juice.
Lovely stuff.
Yes.
Peace tea, gorge.
Yes.
Shall we dive in? My dear.
Yes, please.
Now, I've split this into our pre-Corriedales, Corriedales, and post-Corriedales section.
Sure.
So we'll start off with the we'll start off with the pre-Corriedales
Oh, well, let's hope so.
from Monday. Theo's looking for Todd at the wedding, but Todd's in his room thinking things over, because remember, Todd now is aware that Billy is aware
Right.
of what Theo's been
Yeah, and tells
doing.
them point blank, this isn't okay.
This is edited footage. I've seen the unedited footage,
Yeah.
and so should you.
Yeah. So it feels like the spell is completely broken now.
Now that somebody else knows.
Right.
And it feels like it's more that somebody else knows than the existence of real unedited footage. Because I
Right.
think Todd knows that footage was edited.
Yeah. Somebody else knows and somebody puts it into words. This isn't okay.
Right. He asks Billy to take him home. Billy's driving the bus, but it turns out that a few people are ready to make an early mark for reasons of their own that we'll go into.
Correct.
Billy tells Todd that he's safe. And that's
Yeah.
the first clue that...
That Billy's not safe.
So they head to the minibus and Billy's about to drive off when Theo appears and claims, "I'm not leaving without me, are you?" he says. And he's obviously sussed that Todd's about to do a bunk. Billy hisses under his breath for Theo to stay away from Todd.
Yes.
And Theo hears this. And they exchange a look in the rearview mirror.
They do.
Meanwhile, Debbie is shaking.
Billy should have maybe, kept his mouth shut.
The number of times that something happens that if they just keep their mouth shut
Right.
until they get home,
Right.
or maybe Billy say to Theo, maybe you should. Well, wait a minute. How
Don't
did they get to the hotel? Are they just leaving their car at the?
Or did they come in the minibus originally?
No, they drove
No,
earlier.
that's right. They drove.
Because they were there the night before.
So they left their car there. And that's never addressed.
So there we go. Billy just needs to say,
What
"See
about your car?"
You should just drive in your car."
Right, yeah.
Maybe much of what happened wouldn't have happened if Billy had done that.
Well, no, because...
No, this is Billy's fault.
No, because as mad as we are at Theo, nobody else was getting Billy out of that minibus.
Oh my
either.
God. Once we get to
We'll
this,
get that. We'll get there.
I am going to be
It's
incandescent, I'm going to say.
right, yeah. For good reason.
Right.
And I shall join you.
Debbie is shaken after the run-in with Carl, while Carl is getting miraculous on the champagne
Yes.
as he looks lovingly at his bag that's full of cash.
Or so he thinks.
Debbie has pulled herself together and enjoys her first dance with Ronnie. They dance to Hammer Smashed Face by Cannibal Corpse. Abby is leaving the wedding and sees Kev, both of them surprised that Carl's still there. Abby remarks that the M62 back to Weatherfield is closed, and this is vitally important.
Vitally important.
When Kev leaves, Carl appears and asks for a word with Abby, and he's basically just winding her up about how much of a shit he is.
Right.
So she storms off with his money.
Yeah.
Debbie finally finds Carl as he's about to drive off, and she's furious that he's obviously drunk, so she jumps in the passenger seat. And he speeds off anyway, and this is seen by Kev, and I thought as well Abby.
No, well, yeah, we've seen by Kevin Abby, but it's also importantly seen by
Michael
and Daniel and Michael. Yeah, because James is in the minibus, isn't he?
Yeah. Kev and Abby join forces and set off in pursuit. So I thought at this point that 4 people have seen Carl drive off.
Right.
But I guess by the angle, especially the angle that Michael and Daniel are at, they
Right.
possibly don't see who's driving.
Right, which is important because Daniel is the shit who called the cops.
Michael is.
I thought it was Daniel.
No, it was Michael.
Typically, it's Daniel who's a
Typically, yeah.
fucking busybody who needs to shut his pie hole.
No, it was definitely Michael, and he admits it later.
Uh-huh.
But we should, so Kev definitely sees it, but I was positive that Abby was standing right next to him.
Yeah, I
when the
thought so
car
too.
sped off.
Because they go together into their car to speed off after them. Yeah.
Tracy is in a wonderful mood at the wedding. Steve wonders where Cassie's got to, and Tracy suggests that she's off getting her hole with a waiter. David's on the orange juice at the wedding, and there's a fucking misery, so he sneaks out to have a snifter with Ryan and Daniel, but is obviously caught by Shona. She was supposed to have nipped off for a shite, but the line was too long, so she nabbed Ronnie's key for the bridal suite.
Yes.
This is also important.
Yes, it is.
Because they all go back to the marital suite and find that Cassie has been trapped in the toilet there.
Yes.
Cassie is hacking furious.
What are with all of these bathrooms that lock from the outside? Because remember, Theo locked Todd in the bathroom at their house.
But he tied something to that door handle.
Did he?
Yeah. And for Cassie, there's a sideboard that's been moved to stop the door from opening that David and Shona have to move. Heavily pregnant Shona has to move.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
People keep getting trapped in the bathroom.
Hey, it's happened to me so many times.
Yeah, remember that McDonald's on I-95?
I do remember that
Yeah.
McDonald's. That's the one that I'm basically
That's the one you're thinking of, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I locked myself in the cubicle and had to crawl underneath the door frame.
In a McDonald's in a rest area on I-95.
I hope that's sweat.
Ugh. So gross.
Cassie's fucking furious and goes storming off for retribution. She finds Tracy with Steve, explains that Tracy pretended to be having problems with her zip, and the next thing she knows, she's captured in the bathroom. Steve thinks this is almost Cassie's fault for falling for it,
Yeah.
and then encourages an early departure for them both.
Yes.
Tracy, because she has no friends, leaves with them, as does James, and David and Shona, and Asha, who never wanted to be there in the first place.
Right. But it's good that she's there. All things considered.
It's very handy.
Right, yes, except for, counting how many people got off that minibus. Which we will get to.
Don't get me fucking started, honestly. DC Kit is in full detective mode and learns from Lauren on the street that Betsy is off to Spain with Becky and Swain. Lauren is obviously still quite shaken from the fire, so she doesn't have a lot to say for herself.
No. Also, she doesn't like Kit.
No. Swain goes to check out of the hotel because they're staying in the rape hotel, let's remember. But before she goes, she gives Raphael her new phone number.
Yes.
And asks that he pass it on to Ryan to let her know,
To let
her know if he hears from Carla.
Right.
Raphael is pissed that Swain's stay was only fine. But Ryan does get the message.
Yes, he does.
Raphael's great.
Raphael's the best.
He's only got 2 lines. How was your stay? And just fine.
Yeah. I'm doubly sad now that he didn't get an invite to the wedding because I would like to see Raphael dance.
Why didn't Debbie invite him?
He works for her. You'd think he would. And she is constantly saying how Raphael is so important to her in the business that she couldn't run the business without Raphael, and then she doesn't invite him to her wedding.
Well, I thought she didn't trust him. Anyway, Kit gets a tip about the location of Becky's car that was seen a week ago, so he hightails it to Gunpoint Docks, where, thanks to a noise in a shipping container, he finds Carla gagged and bound. Again. Does this count as a separate kidnapping?
No.
This is still part of the same overall
right,
kidnapping.
yes, because she never got out of the kidnapping. So it's the same kidnapping.
She came so close. If only
She
she'd been able to
came so
unlock
close.
that door.
If only she hadn't, stood over Becky and loomed and stared at her for 5 minutes before, instead of immediately running out of that apartment, which is what she should have done.
Yeah. For more on that, listen to last week's podcast.
Right.
Kit wants to take Carla to the hospital and is about to call the airports, but Carla found something about a Hull to Rotterdam ferry. Fuck the hospital, just drive, Kit, she screams. She calls Ryan and gets Lisa's new number. They manages to call Swain. Kit has warned Carla to be conscious that Becky will be there, so Carla gets Swain to pretend that it's Ryan. And Swain does a fairly decent job of pretending. But then we see her face as Carla tells her the truth, and her expression changes.
Yes.
Stop this fucking car, shouts Swain. Betsy screams, the fucking idiot, and Becky slams on the anchors.
Right, yeah. She's like, what? What did he say? And then she's like, oh, that wasn't Carla, was it? As if she could say anything that would make it okay that she kidnapped Carla.
That'll be that Carla calling from the Canary Islands saying that I've kidnapped her or something, no
right.
doubt.
And that Kit found her in a
Shipping container. At Gunpoint Docks.
Right, that
somehow.
was completely empty of anything but Carla.
Ship one Carla to Mexico. So, everyone, and by that I mean everyone that's important,
Yeah.
is on this stretch of road.
Yes.
Now, presumably, Emmerdale's got its own version of this.
Right,
that's
yeah.
leading up to this moment. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
And we won't watch
I
it.
didn't watch any of the Emmerdale episodes up to this because I refuse to do extra work
Right.
just to be able to watch this
Right.
stupid show.
We will not be manipulated into watching Emmerdale.
Right, although, after Corriedales, I'm thinking it's a show to be watching. I really enjoyed this little lead up to
Right,
and
yeah.
getting all the pieces in the right place.
Yeah.
They started with a previously on Coronation Street,
Right.
which I think is for the benefit of the Emmerdale viewers.
Right. But were there Emmerdale viewers watching that episode of Coronation Street, or were they watching Emmerdale at the same time?
I wasn't on at the same time.
Oh, that's right. It couldn't be, could it?
Emmerdale was on first,
Then-
then it was Corrie, and then it was Corriedales.
Which makes it kind of funny that there were fewer people watching the Emmerdale than the Corrie, and then the
That's people like
Corriedale.
us.
Yeah. Which makes you think that possibly more people watch Coronation Street.
Oh, they do. It is quite close, but it's
Yeah.
But Corrie is the
Yeah.
As a
The
leader.
difference between 3.6 million and 3.7 million.
that was very
Which is
close this
nothing
week.
to sniff at.
No,
But anyway. Yeah. There were aspects of it I didn't like, and they bleed into Corriedale.
Z-
Look, it's Corriedale on Letterboxd, so I'm going to say Corriedale. It's just fun that I now have something in my Letterboxd that stars Jack P. Shepard.
yeah, me too.
like the musical choices. Like they keep putting this incidental music in parts, and it's just like it's cheesy, and I don't like it.
It worked a couple of times.
It's like these shows forget that they're soap operas, and they're trying to be like a police procedural, or a dramatic show, or like a murder mystery.
Well, as we get into Corriedales, that's exactly what it's done. It's not exactly in CinemaScope, but it's
No.
in a wider ratio.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
And
they still
it's-
can't get the light right.
And it's super dark.
Yeah.
I had to watch it. I have watched it 3 times. But I watched it the second and third time, the third time especially, just through After Effects so I could bump the brightness up and see
Right.
what was happening, because I don't know half of the people that are in this from
Right.
the Emmerdale side, although I recognise more than I thought I would.
Right.
So there's some times where I'm looking at a character that I don't think I know, but I bump the brightness up and it's fucking Todd.
Right.
Well, I do know it's him,
Right.
but if I hadn't bumped the brightness up,
And,
I
like,
wouldn't have.
People are like, well, it's set at night. What do you want? And it's like, I want to see what's going on.
Yes.
Have you not watched any other television program or movie where it's lighter than it should be at night so that you can see what's going on?
Yeah.
You don't have to be that realistic about how dark things are.
It was distractingly dark.
Right. Especially in the wood scenes.
God knows what was going on there.
Right. And especially because, like, there were a lot of characters who had their hoods up, which made it doubly hard.
I thought they were Jawas. Anyway, let's talk about Corriedales, shall we?
Yeah, well, we've already started, so we might as well continue.
I felt quite bad for Emmerdale because it seemed to me that Corrie was being favoured. But I've seen an awful lot of people saying that it was too heavily Emmerdale,
Oh, that's interesting.
which suggests to me that they got it right.
Yeah.
That there was an equal balance of both.
Although only Coronation Street had a death, right?
No, Emmerdale had a death right at the end,
Oh, that's right.
but we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We start off with a brief recap of all the people that are on the road. Some of them are farmers whose names I don't know. 2 of those farmers are gay, and one of them's a murderer.
And somebody's pregnant on that side as well.
The gay farmers are murderous John Sugden and Aaron Dingle. I remember Aaron.
Right. The Dingles are kind of the main family on Emmerdale, aren't they?
Everyone's a Dingle. Or has been married to a Dingle. Or divorced from a Dingle.
Feels a little incestuous, doesn't it?
My darling, you don't know the half of it. They've got a gun, and it's because they're wrestling for the gun that they crash into the Swain mobile, and they flip over a couple of times, and the Swain mobile just kind of skids to a halt.
Right. And also Becky's not paying attention to the road because she's too focused on, trying to tell Swain that she's silly for asking her to pull over.
Right. It's an impressive crash. I think it was shot very cinematically.
Yeah.
I loved the drone shot from above. And we see that quite a few times. There's quite a few drone shots.
Yes.
And I think I liked all of them.
Yeah.
Everyone is unconscious, but John comes round first and he limps off,
Right. Yes.
taking the gun.
Because he doesn't want to get caught. Because he's a bad guy.
He's a murderer, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's such a bad murderer that Kit recognizes his name. So that's pretty impressive.
Apparently, there's been
Signs
posters
in the,
up.
yeah. I think I mentioned those in Corrie News at one point.
Probably.
About the Easter eggs.
Carla and Kit arrive on the scene, and Carla rushes to Swain's aid just as a minibus comes round the corner. Billy swerves to avoid her and ends up flipping the minibus, but doesn't hit Carla or any of the other crashed cars or people. But now we've got essentially a metal barrier across the road.
Right. This is why the rest of the week really confuses me, because the rest of the week makes it seem like whoever's driving Carl's car is responsible for the minibus flipping over, when it had nothing to do with
Yeah, they're
it
not
flipping
there
over.
yet.
They're not there yet. I think they make it worse, but
They
they're
do.
not responsible for...
And they don't make it, but they don't seem to make it worse necessarily for the minibus, but we'll come to it.
Right, yeah. I think them hitting the minibus accelerates the fire. But
Could
that's
be right.
it.
The crash doesn't stop Cassie from singing On Top of the World, and it isn't enough to rouse David or Todd from unconsciousness. There's petrol on the road. Billy keeps asking if everyone is okay, and the van starts to fill with smoke.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Carl and Debbie come hooring round the corner, and they slam into the minibus, which in turn slams into Swain's car. That was really impressive.
Yeah.
And kind of shocking, and I
But-
felt that in my stomach.
Again, there is no reason why anybody in Swain's car should be alive right now. Because they flipped
Well,
head
they
over.
haven't flipped.
Yeah.
No.
They flip at the beginning.
No, that wasn't them. That was the Emmerdale car.
I thought it was Becky's car.
No, because they're still on their wheels, and the Emmerdale car is on its roof.
Okay. See, it's
too
tough.
dark.
It's, too
So dark.
It's so dark.
Carla's knocked out at first, but he comes round and sees Debbie unconscious. He tries to wake her. He can't, so he apologises to her, moves her into the driver's seat,
Right.
and then he leaves her to die. He doesn't just leave. He
Right.
leaves her to die or be dead.
Right. Yes. And also to take the blame.
But as he's walking away, he collapses on the side of the road.
Yes. And I was hoping there's our first death.
Yeah. But even the most wet behind the ears crash investigator
Yeah.
is going to look at Debbie, look at the position of the seat,
Right.
and think there's no way in the world that her feet are reaching those pedals.
Right. And also the fact that she's not wearing a seatbelt and she's still alive
And she,
should be a clue.
and we'll talk
And
about bruises later.
And is kind of leaning out of the car. Like her feet are on the ground. You know, she's kind of like halfway in, halfway out. But I was like, what is Carl doing? Is he just getting her out so far and then he's going to go for help and then he collapses? You know? So I was still giving him the benefit of the doubt until
really?
later in the week, you know, or when Asha, for some reason, tells everybody that Debbie was driving.
Yeah. Time for more farmers now.
Woohoo!
Kane Dingle and his wife Moira, Scottish national treasure Natalie Robb, they're travelling with Sarah Sugden and her partner Jacob. They're being tailed by Mackenzie Boyd, Moira's brother, and Charity Dingle, another Dingle, and Sarah's granny, and she's a pregnant one.
Yeah. I was so confused. Why is this grandmother pregnant?
It's
What is
Emmerdale.
going on? How young do you have to be a grandmother at Emmerdale?
Well, we're talking about very, very young teenage births here.
Right. But I mean, even with Sarah, Gail looks like a granny. And she's not pregnant.
Yeah, but she wasn't a gym slip mother. And Bethany and Sarah do more or less look kind of the same age. They could be sisters.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's some drama here about deception around her surrogacy, but I won't pretend to know the details.
Right.
Mackenzie is flashing his lights, and this distracts Kane, who brakes to miss the pile up ahead, forcing Mackenzie to swerve, and he hits a tree. Nature is now on the receiving end of this crash. Asha and Farmer Jacob attend to some of the injured while everyone except Billy gets out of the minibus.
And nobody thinks to help Billy out of the minibus. And he doesn't think to shout to somebody, hey, can somebody help me get this belt off?
He's too busy asking if everybody's all right.
Right, yeah, he's
And nobody's
alive,
answering because they're out.
and he's conscious. How does he not shout at somebody to help him out?
Somebody maybe like Steve, who does fuck all.
No, except for like stand and gape.
He stands and gapes on
And
the side of Cassie.
and he said a couple of times to people, can I do anything? Can I help? And the one thing that he could have helped with, he can't because he didn't wear a tie to the wedding.
And Kane just stares at him.
No wonder people shouted him in the FCC.
Right, yeah. There are so many people on that minibus, and the only people that aren't in a fit state to help Billy are Todd, Shona, and David.
Right.
James will help other people get out of cars in a little bit, but nobody thinks to go and get Billy.
Nobody offers to help Billy, and Billy doesn't ask for help. It's like, look, we know you want to kill this character off. We get it. But did you have to make it so heartless?
It really is. It's a diss to the character, and everybody's okay. It's dark. They've just been in an accident.
Right.
But when the van starts to smell of smoke, there's an urgency in the place to get
Right.
everybody out of there.
Right. And nobody thinks to look behind them and make sure that everybody gets out.
Is that everybody? Who's that mumbling if everyone's okay still?
Right. Yeah.
I must be hearing things.
Yeah.
But you're right, Asha's like, she's so on it
Yeah.
in every other regard. But she isn't, and I'm not honestly, I'm not blaming her particularly.
No, I'm
But
blaming everybody.
But let's just pick her as a for instance. You gather everybody
Right.
in the one spot to say, is this everybody? Have we got everybody?
Right.
Let's do a head count.
Right.
Are we missing somebody?
Right.
Are we missing somebody with a beard?
Right.
Are we missing somebody who keeps on asking if everyone's okay?
If we're missing, are we missing the guy who was driving the minibus?
Yeah, who got us here?
And
Is he here?
And I mean, I don't completely blame Asha because Asha
No.
was being, people were constantly calling for her to come help. And sometimes unhelpfully calling her to help Emmerdale people just because they know, oh, Asha, come help this guy that I've never met before, but seems like he's in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Steve, nobody was asking him for help. He's just standing there feeling useless.
Mm-hmm. So maybe
Go
just
get Billy out of the bus.
maybe just curiosity then, just to stick his head in and see.
Right.
Oh God, we forgot about Billy.
And I mean,
This is so embarrassing.
Todd's unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So
Theo's
don't
not going to do it. Not straight away, anyway.
No. And was probably the worst person to send back in there to get Billy out.
James, Asha, Steve, Cassie.
I feel like we're forgetting somebody. No, I think that's it. But Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy.
None of them thought to, wonder where Billy is. You'd think that after Asha, after the EMT, the person that you'd want immediately afterwards would be the vicar to offer comfort to the people who've been in this horrific accident. But nobody thinks to look for him.
Oh, it just wound me up so much. Because now I'm starting to feel sorry for Billy.
Right.
Anyway, Theo carries a still unconscious Todd, then claims he isn't breathing, which takes up some of Asha's valuable time, and Asha soon discovers he is breathing and she fucks off to help some other people. No one, not a single person thinks about Billy.
Nope.
And none of the Emmerdale people are interested in who still might be in that minibus.
Not yet.
No.
There will come a moment where one of the Emmerdale people will say, hey, did you get everybody out of that minibus? And that will be the second that the minibus explodes.
Asha finds Debbie in the driver's seat of the car and deduces that she's fine. Then she and Kane go to Aaron, who's still upside down in his car.
Yeah.
He undoes his seatbelt. He's okay. He tells Kit that John Sugden is here and he's got a gun, so Kit calls that in. Asha finds Carl passed out with no pulse, so does compression on him. And this, I think, was one of my favourite lines in the entire extravaganza, was when Kit says, is there anything I can do to help? And Asha says, you could stop other cars crashing into me if you can.
Yeah.
Because she's doing her
Right.
compression, God bless her,
Right,
in the
yeah,
middle
right
of
in the
the
road.
Asha's great.
Except when she's forgetting about the existence of Billy.
Right. Meanwhile, Jacob is helping Shona, who is frantic that she can't feel the baby move. He calms her, and there's a kick, and they relax. But she's still worried that she's going into early labour, and David is no longer unconscious. He's come round.
Right, for the moment.
Yeah. Now we have the confusion of the farmers' vans, who are caught in the line of traffic that's been held up by the accident.
Right.
First up, we've got Jay Sharma, who Steve will later mistake for Vic, Dev's cousin, because they're both played by the same
guy,
actor,
yeah.
which is hilarious.
That was funny.
Jay's unaware that his van is carrying the dead body of a drug dealer. And then there's a second van driven by a mysterious figure, and there's a young woman tied up in the back of that, one who's struggling to escape.
Yeah, I was kind of confused because there was a moment where I thought the dead guy and the woman were in the same van.
Yes, I thought that as well.
Yeah. It's like this guy's just collecting bodies.
Yeah, and she's struggling to escape, but she eventually succeeds and she runs off into the woods.
Yeah.
Steve and Cassie are very much useless observers to all of this.
As is Tracy.
Mac's arm, yeah, and I don't know why I'm giving Tracy a pass. It's maybe because we just don't see her standing about doing nothing
Right.
as often as we see Steve standing about doing
Right,
nothing.
yeah. And she doesn't offer to help.
No.
Whereas at least Steve and Cassie offer to help, but they're useless to help because Steve didn't wear a tie.
Mac's arm is impaled on a branch, but when Charity comes round, with Moira and Jacob's help, she's able to stem the blood. And with James's help, Carla is able to get Betsy out of the Swain mobile, with Becky and Swain still unconscious. But Becky eventually comes round, albeit quite slowly. Kev and Abby get to Carl's car, but it's empty. They find Asha, who says Debbie was driving. And then we see that, or they see that she's still working on Carl, who's out cold but still alive.
Yeah. Kev's like,
And neither of them care. And immediately, Debbie!
right, yeah.
They just wander off.
They could not be fucked.
Right. And it was quite nice to see Kev and Abby
Yeah,
working together a little
yeah.
bit here. Even though we don't
We
like
don't
them
want
together.
them to get together again.
They,
No.
they were good here. And in fact, in this whole week, I'm going to say, this is a really good week for Kev.
Yeah,
Kev's pretty great this week.
yeah, yeah.
Todd comes round, and the only thing he can say is Billy. So Theo goes back into the fiery minibus. Let's say what it is at this point. This is a brave thing for him to be doing.
Well, it starts out brave.
It does. At this point, it's brave. And the bus is still on its side. And Billy proves to no one that he's a vicar by saying the Lord's Prayer and asking if everyone's okay. Theo goes to help him. But when Billy says, "You've still got some good in you," Theo thinks, "Fuck this."
Buckles
and
him
manages
back
to buckle
in.
Billy back in.
Right. How was Billy not able to get unbuckled? If he was conscious and moving around, how did he not get unbuckled himself and get out?
But it's on its side. He's elevated.
Unbuckle and drop down
Right.
and get the hell out of there.
Because to do that, you've got gravity on your side. Theo, to unbuckle him
Has to kind of lift him up a little bit.
and then buckle him back in again,
Right. Yeah, he has to lift him back up again to buckle him back in.
that seems to require an almost impossible amount of effort.
Right. But
But that's what happens.
it's Theo No Sleeves, so.
Right. And Theo starts sobbing as he leaves Billy
To die.
and crawls
Right.
out of the minibus.
Right. Yes.
But he doesn't know at this point that it's going to blow up.
It's already on fire, so unless somebody else goes in there to save Billy, he's got to think that, and because nobody has noticed that Billy's not there except for Todd, he's got to think, well, he's going to burn to a crisp eventually.
Right.
It's weird that nobody has a fire extinguisher in their trunk.
I think there should be one in the minibus by law.
Right, yeah. Because you would think that, like, one of the very first priorities for people would be to put out the fire in the minibus.
Right.
That's something that Steve and Cassie and Tracy could be doing at this moment. And then maybe they'd notice that Billy is still trapped in the minibus by gravity.
You see the burnt out shell of the minibus
Yeah.
at the end, and I half expected to see Billy's body
Right.
or hear him ask if everyone's
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Just as
It would be, Aunt Beru on in the first Star Wars movie.
right.
Just a skeleton. A smoking skeleton.
It's good to be smoking.
Yeah.
So Theo gets clear. More farmers appear just as the minibus
Right.
blows the fuck up.
They're farmers.
They're not farmers.
They should
They're
have
not farmers.
just let me
Okay.
have this. They live in a farming community. They should have a fire extinguisher in their vehicles, because farms have accidents all the time, and yet nobody has anything but a tie for a tourniquet, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of medical supplies anywhere.
I think the only person that's still a farmer in this is Moira. think she's still a farmer.
And she's pregnant, so I guess we give her a pass.
She's pregnant?
Oh, she's not pregnant.
No.
Her grandmother's pregnant.
No.
Her mother's pregnant.
No.
Her
Her
aunt.
sister-in-law?
I thought she was the
No.
granny.
No, not her sister-in-law. Charity's a granny.
Right, and she's pregnant.
But this is not Moira.
She's not, right, yes. Well, whose grandmother is she? Is there any...
Sarah's.
Is Sarah in this episode?
Sarah Sugden.
Is she in this episode?
Yeah.
Where is she at?
She's in the car that Mackenzie was flashing at.
Okay. See, it's so confusing because there are so many people.
I know.
And it's so dark.
I know. And I've probably got 60% of that wrong.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not like I'm going to give you a pop quiz afterwards
No. Although I feel like you just did.
about characters that I have no interest in.
Kevin Abbey, Find Debbie. Well, the explosion of the minibus was quite impressive as well.
Yeah.
And we see it from a few different angles and stuff. They get their money's worth out of it. It was a big moment. They did that pretty well. Kevin Abbey, Find Debbie. Todd sees the minibus blow up and asks where Billy is. He's literally with Paul now, blown into space.
Only a little bit lower in the atmosphere.
Debbie's a bit spaced out from a concussion and doesn't know what Kev's talking about when he asks her if she was driving. One of the farmers is Robert Sugden, John's half-brother, who is with Aaron. So there's a little gay love triangle going on.
Yeah.
And they have...
That's why John is threatening the other guy in the car, right?
I believe so.
Because he wants the other guy in the other car back. But during the course of this night, John will run away and the other two will get engaged. So,
and I honestly thought this bit with Robert and Aaron sitting up against the overturned car while there's carnage round about them.
yes.
I thought when they agreed essentially through mutual consent to get married again
Yeah.
was one of the highlights of
Yeah,
the
that
episode.
was nice. I liked that.
The chemistry between these two characters that I don't know.
Right.
I've never seen together. I know Aaron.
Right.
I don't think I've seen this version of Robert.
Has Robert had many heads?
I think so, but I think but I might be thinking of a different character. But the two of them in that 3-minute scene when they had their little conversation about getting married and then getting
Right.
engaged, I thought was tremendous.
Yes.
It was so good.
Yes.
And it looked like they were about to get their hole on the road.
Which would have been hilarious.
But John's on a nearby embankment and he looks like he's about to take a pop shot at them. But someone walks in the way and John scampers off rather than just waiting 15 seconds.
Right.
Tim, let's introduce Tim into this. He's driving Farmer Dr. Liam Kavanagh and Chaz Dingle.
Farmer doctor, like a veterinarian, or like a doctor, a people doctor in a farming community?
Just a people doctor.
Oh, okay. So we're not bridging into all things bright and beautiful territory. Okay.
Maybe it was a mistake to refer to all of them as farmers. Tim's driving the two of them back from the rape hotel.
Right,
where
where they
there was
were
a
the
murder
murder mystery.
Back to Emmerdale.
Yeah. I like this. I like this. I like the conceit of this all the way through.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It's always better when you introduce Tim into something.
Tim is quite the surly taxi driver in this because he's getting jibes for not taking the motorway and he's like, the motorway's closed.
Right,
I
yeah.
thought we established that
Right.
in the pre-Corriedales section.
Right.
They're caught up in the traffic at the accident and Liam helps the victims while Chaz searches for Aaron, her son.
Okay. Her gay son, who just got engaged.
Yes.
Yes.
Tracy's still there, let's remember, and she notices that the fire on the road is inching closer to Swain's car. So
people are trapped.
So people from Coronation Street and Emmerdale, a couple from EastEnders, and an extra from the Bill all join forces to push Swain's car away where it rolls over the edge of a quarry where Billy once fell.
Right. And yet still, no one thinks to check the minibus.
Well, it's already exploded. It's too late for that now.
still, it's hilarious that, Tracy does nothing except notice that the fire is going to murder 2 lesbians.
And
Which are more important than a vicar, I guess.
This is what pulls everyone together. Yeah, because it's not even won't everyone think of the children because Betsy's already out.
Right, yeah. I don't understand how they couldn't get the other 2 out the same way. Like lean over and unlock the door.
Yeah.
Because they get her through the window. But now the window is down. So lean over and unlock the door. Or lean over and open the other window and pull Becky out.
Yeah, there was no reason why those people can't be pulled out. I know you can be worried about their spine or whatever.
Right.
But
their spines seem
speed is
fine.
of the essence.
Right.
Get them out and worry about that later, I think. But that scene as well with them.
Yeah, and
the
they
car to
obviously didn't
safety.
care about Betsy's spine.
No. The overhead camera looking down on the fire, creeping towards the cars, and then everyone pushing the car. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Swain's
Or
awake at this point.
Lifting the car and
Yeah.
moving it. Yeah. Isn't it funny, though, how Billy was able to survive falling off a cliff into a quarry, but then dies in a car explosion?
Now, what would have been really interesting is if he had survived the explosion and you start
Right.
to think Billy's indestructible.
Yes. Billy's a superhero.
Indestructible Billy is a character I think I could get behind.
Right.
Because would that test his
Billy-
faith?
Billy
That would test his faith, right?
Billy will appear in Marvel's Doomsday.
If Billy continuously cheats death
Yeah.
and can't die,
Right. People would he would get so many converts.
would he though?
God protects this man from
Oh, so I
uncertain
guess.
death. You can too.
'Cause I think it maybe suggests the absence of a god.
No, it would be
That somebody can continually cheat death.
right. Yeah, because he's being supernaturally protected by an unseen god.
Thankfully, it doesn't get this complicated. Billy's quite dead.
Yes, he is very crispy. He is Aunt Beru.
It's a smaller box will be required.
I apologize that I can't remember the name of Luke Skywalker's uncle. I just remember
Uncle Owen.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So Billy is now Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Uncle Owen was an asshole. It's okay that I forget him occasionally. He didn't like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Uncle Owen and Peru. Those were the only things I could remember from that scene.
And also the smoking skeletons.
I don't remember the skeletons.
Really?
Were the skeletons added in at a later point?
No, you see them. That's because you have to see them so that you know they're dead.
Swain's awake at this point and on oxygen, which would just make the fire worse, let's not forget.
No.
So later, fire and ambulance crews are on the scene as Carla catches Becky trying to sneak off, but then Swain calls on Becky from an ambulance,
Becky,
which doesn't quite work.
you're an ambulance.
Betsy still doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on, and Becky goes into the ambulance to apologise to Swain, but when she goes to kiss her, Swain recoils, slaps the cuffs on her.
Woohoo!
You're under arrest, bitch. The charges are misconduct in public office, fraud, theft, ABH, and kidnapping,
Yes.
adds Carla. Now, this was...
It's like getting back to old Swain. I was cheering so loudly.
I was cheering as well because I thought in the moment, this was very satisfying.
Yes.
In the moment.
In the moment.
When we
Becomes
start...
less satisfying as the week goes on, but in the moment, very satisfying.
And it becomes less satisfying just when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we needed further proof that Becky was born in a subreddit, it feels that this is what does that. I feel that she becomes almost entirely device
Yeah.
and not character. There's even a moment where she's like, no, and it's like she becomes a child
Uh-huh.
when
No, don't do this.
all of her character has dropped at this point.
Right.
And so the show's kind of flirted with this idea of coercion and manipulation without really calling it that and without
Right.
focusing on that. And some people have focused on that aspect of it
Right.
as being important, but I don't think the show's done anything near enough to
No.
make us think that that's the story they were telling.
Right. Yeah. Because especially it's tough to do that, especially if we have an actual coercion story going on
Exactly.
and is being told better. I don't enjoy it, but it is being told better because you see actual manipulation of Todd by Theo. Whereas Becky just, makes a fake website, rubs Swain's shoulders, and all of a sudden Swain is just falling back in bed with her, thinking that Carla has left her. Without talking to anybody, without really looking at the pictures very closely. Because as Kit points out to Lisa later in the week, Sarah was the one who figured out those pictures were faked.
Yeah, Sarah and Carla were the ones who blew this case wide open. But for this, and I know this was like Monday and there was still a lot to be told, but we didn't get any of this on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're kind of left thinking if this is the resolution of it, none of this deals with why Swain ignored
all
the red flags.
Right. Yeah, which...
Why her instincts that she was driven by when she was a tertiary character have completely abandoned her.
Right. And both Kit and Carla say to her, because she's like, well, I didn't know. And both of them are like, we knew. We figured it out and you wouldn't listen to us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's how the whole Theo murdering Billy by not saving Billy isn't all that satisfying. And this is something that we had talked about beforehand about, do we think that Theo could actually murder Billy? Mm-hmm. And I called it. I was like, Theo will murder Billy by not doing anything to save Billy.
Well, yeah, through inaction rather than
Right.
action. Although
It's
clipping
not,
them back into his seat is an action.
right. He's like that Nazi kid in Sound of Music, that when the dad says, "You'll never be one of them," and that's when he blows the whistle. So Billy's saying there is some good in you.
Yeah.
He may as well have been singing Edelweiss instead of singing the Lord's Prayer.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
So Coronation Street has stolen from Star Wars and now the Sound of Music.
I don't think we can say that they stole from Star Wars when there wasn't a scene of a smouldering skeleton. No, the clipping of the handcuffs was a great.
Yeah, that was
It was a
satisfying.
great instant moment, but it was a polite ending to it.
Well,
too clean. I mean, it gets more complicated, and we'll get to that.
Let's just be glad then that the story is not over.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Well, yeah. So it's mostly Emmerdale stuff now as Aaron is whisked away to the hospital and Robert promises it won't go after John, but then immediately gets Kane and they go after John for a hunt in the woods, and it's super dark.
Yeah,
Kit's
it's
in the
even
woods.
darker.
Kit's in the woods too. All right. And he tells Rob to go home, and then John appears from nowhere, twats Kit in the head.
Yeah.
Rob and John struggle with a gun and end up shooting Kane in the stomach. But it takes more than a gunshot wound and a twatting to knock Kane and Kit out as they both pursue John. But he gets away because he's not recently been horribly injured.
Right, yes.
Kit, though, does find the escaped woman who runs into a tree and knocks herself out. That was quite funny. Yeah. Kit calms her and notices that she has a tattoo of a tree on her wrist.
But it also...
And the same tree that Shona suddenly has tattooed on her back when we see it later. At least it's not a Romanian flag.
Right, yeah. And also he notices that her hands are bound, which is, I think, the most important thing he notices at that point.
Yes. At the hospital, Kev tells an unconscious Carol that he's onto him. Carla and Charity share an elevator ride, which is enough to generate quite a bit of chemistry between them.
Yes.
Charity knew who Becky was by the description of the horrible jacket and the stench. Ken and Eric Pollard bond over a greedy vending machine.
That was funny.
Shona is still worried about going into labour when her waters break, and then David has a seizure and collapses.
Right.
Just because we need something else happening
Right.
here.
Yes. I did really enjoy the two old codgers who have... I don't even really know why Ken is there. Why is Ken there?
Tracy.
Yeah, but Tracy's not been injured.
But she's still at the hospital.
Right. But she's been walking and talking.
Somebody needs to pick her up.
All right, fine. Steve's there. Well, somebody needs to pick Steve up too. Maybe Ken's picking up Steve and Cassie as well.
Yeah.
Dad, can you come and pick us up? But still, I really liked, the two old men struggling with a vending machine. That was fun.
Sharing tips. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was good fun. The mystery man is on the phone explaining to someone that the contract has been terminated. Todd is a wreck at the hospital when Summer arrives and she just breaks down in his arms. That was heartbreaking, wasn't it?
Poor Summer. Her dads are dropping like flies.
Seriously. Then back in the woods we see Victoria Sugden standing over the dead body of John.
Now, is he dead or is he passed out? Or she knocked him unconscious?
It looked to me like he was dead. I was questioning whether she did it or if she found him.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I think the consensus is that she killed him.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I get from, doing research for Corrie News.
Carl goes in to arrest and Kev watches the crash team impassively and then leaves, and Kane learns that he has cancer.
Yes.
Probably. The
Yeah.
next morning, back in the taxi, Tim takes Chaz back to Emmerdale. She'd been helping out at the scene, and Tim didn't want to leave his cab. Tim remembers about the plane crash in Emmerdale, and Chaz wonders where Tim's from, and Tim doesn't think she'll have heard of it.
Right, which is funny.
And that's the end of Corriedales.
Yeah. Oh, and they're worried about that Debbie might have had a stroke.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved this.
It was all right.
Oh, come on, it was better than all right.
It was too dark.
It was too dark.
And why did nobody remember Billy exists?
But
There are issues, and also
There are
I don't,
issues, yeah.
and also I think there are issues in the fact that there are people like me who know nothing about Emmerdale.
well, do you think you needed to know?
Well, none of that meant anything to me because I didn't care about any of those characters.
No, it didn't mean very much to me either, but I don't think it spoiled my enjoyment of it. And I think they did a really good job of getting characters that are good enough and are acted well enough that just the portrayal of them kind of gets you interested at least.
Do you think this will be the thing that gets Asha back into being an EMT?
Yes, 100%. I think that's why she's there.
Right. Who was it who got voted into the show by that silly fan poll that they did?
I think it was Kirk and Sam Dingle.
Kirk's not in this.
There was a special... Oh, no, it would be for Carla and Charity to be together, I think. Wasn't that an option? There was an extra bit with Kirk and Sam, though, together. They're essentially the same character, but from the different shows.
Why was Kirk at the hospital? He's not related to anybody who was in the accident. Why on earth would he be there? Because you're right, he is at the hospital. But it's confusing because, well, Craig is dead. And Maria didn't go to the wedding. In fact, she makes a crack later on in the week saying for the first time she was glad she didn't go to a wedding.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. This is something that Ali and I talked about earlier on in the week.
Uh-huh.
About Kit's involvement.
Right.
And how Kit has kind of gone full hero here.
Yeah, which is interesting because he's a bent cop.
Mm-hmm.
The show seems to have forgotten that he's a bent cop.
He always sort of flirts. He walks the line, which is what made him an interesting character to begin with.
Right.
Apart from him being incredibly tall, obviously.
Right, yes.
But I think he's never been so so good.
Right.
as he has
Yeah,
been
because
here.
it's not just the accident and running after the murder guy John whatever. Mm-hmm. It's the rescuing Carla.
Rescuing Carla
He
and
rescues
investigating
Carla.
it.
Yeah.
And
He doesn't let it go.
And thinking about her and thinking about the case and not thinking about himself and his own promotion.
Right.
Which is what we, I think, assumed he was going to be like.
Right.
He's been far more dedicated to the pursuit of truth than Kit maybe of last year
Well,
would
I mean,
particularly be.
he's a bent cop, but I don't feel like he would allow Carla to potentially die in order to get a promotion. You know what I'm saying? There are steps that are too far for him.
I'm liking this Kit though.
Yeah, me too.
And
I
continuing
also
to
like him with Sarah, I have to say.
it really
and
works.
not just because I look at them and wonder how they have sex.
It really works. He picks her up.
You've thought about this.
A little. Made some sketches.
Okay.
It works.
All right. If you say
I'm not
so.
saying it's comfortable.
No. Let's not forget I was once married to a man who's 6'6".
Well, then you know.
So I know how uncomfortable it can be.
So, I thought they did for something that I really wasn't looking forward to, and I was refusing to buy into the hype.
You bought into the hype a little bit.
A little bit.
Not
towards,
as much. Whereas I was like, this is a money grab and a cynical way to get people to watch these shows again.
The things that I was worried about was I don't know the characters, and I honestly don't think that was that much of an issue. But I think for it being a big episode, I think this delivered more than an awful lot of the big episodes that we've had recently.
Right.
This was genuinely exciting, I felt.
Right.
And you really didn't know who was going to die.
We knew who was
Well,
going
we
to die.
knew that Billy was going to die, but I thought at least either Carl or
Becky
or maybe Theo were going to be in peril. I didn't think David was, no matter
No.
how many times he has a seizure or collapses or is unconscious. So
Right.
Todd was never going to be in trouble. And really, Theo probably wasn't going to be in trouble either. But
those are the characters you want to die.
yeah, and it felt that there was some jeopardy.
Yeah,
throughout.
I thought Carl was a goner, and I was okay with that.
Oh, sure.
You know, because he's fine, and then he collapses again. And also, doesn't he have some other sort of like mysterious thing wrong with him
We
already?
find that out that we'll talk about
Yeah.
later.
So you hope it's going to be Carl, but you also would not be sad if Becky or Theo died. I think a lot of people would be happy if Theo died, because I feel like more people hate that than they hate Becky.
Oh, yeah. I
People
would agree.
hate Becky, but they hate Theo more.
Yeah, I'd go along with that.
Yeah.
All right, shall we move on to the...
Oh God,
rest
we
of the
still
week?
have the rest of the week to talk about.
Yeah, we've covered Monday.
Yeah. Crazy.
Right. Okay, our next storyline then is Theo No Sleeves. On Tuesday, Ken and Rita go to pay their respects to Billy, Ken forgetting that Billy killed his daughter. At the hospital, Todd comforts Summer while Theo sits and looks on worriedly. Amy and Ash arrive to comfort Summer as well, so while Theo is waiting on his scan, Todd just gets up and fucks off home and leaves him to it. And he's packing a bag when Summer arrives, who needed to be with her last dad.
Yes.
Meanwhile, back at the hospital,
He's the final father.
Theo is sobbing to George about not saving Billy, but George thinks Theo is a hero.
Yeah, fuck off, George. You weren't there.
Yeah. Summer is grateful that she still has one of her dads, but Billy was the one most like a proper dad.
Right.
Todd
Which is hilarious because he was a drug addict.
Todd. I mean, apart from the skank, he was skank or skag.
Skag. Skank is a loose woman.
Apart from the skag, he was a top bloke.
Right, yeah.
Todd promises that he's not going anywhere. Theo comes home at this, and this just makes Summer cry more. She cries herself to sleep, which allows Todd and Theo to talk. Todd reveals that he's seen the unedited footage, and Theo doesn't protest and just apologises for it, saying that he was scared. Todd doesn't know why Theo has to be so nasty to him all the time. Theo says it's because he loves him, and he needs Todd, like Summer needs Todd, and he wants to start again, putting everything behind him.
Summer is never nasty to Theo
No.
or to Todd, so Theo can fuck all the way off with that.
And he apologises again and wishes he could switch places with Billy.
Yeah, so do we.
You need to stop being nasty to me then, says Todd. And Theo hugs him, but Todd doesn't really hug back.
Right, and is this the point where Theo attempts to plant the seed in
coming up for
Todd? Yeah.
On Thursday, Theo is in ridiculously high spirits coming in from buying milk, talking about fire poles and applying for the fire service, and he's whistling like a complete psycho while Todd quietly watches. Summer and George come over to talk about Billy and the floral tributes and how some people think that he was God's most beautiful envoy.
Yeah, it's so funny that now people care about Billy.
I know. Yeah, they care about him now, not when he was
Trapped
burning
in a
to death in
right.
a minibus. Yep. Theo is getting way too involved in these conversations and keeps saying things like, it's what he would have wanted. Then Summer asks to stay with Todd and Theo green lights it. When she goes to brush her teeth, Theo hopes that Todd isn't blaming himself, like some people are doing, seeing as this is all his fault for leaving the wedding early.
Fuck all the way off,
And Todd's
dude.
like, wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Yeah. What you talk about, Willis?
This is my fault? Because I wanted to leave the wedding early? Do you want to investigate why I wanted to leave the wedding early?
And also, did you not see all those other people in the minibus who also wanted to leave the wedding early?
Mm-hmm. And all those people that were in the minibus that could theoretically have saved Billy?
Right.
But somehow this is my fault?
Yeah.
Todd says all of this with his eyebrows.
Yes.
On Friday,
But
Todd...
he is thinking it, which is an improvement.
Well, I hope he's thinking it, because I hope he's not thinking...
Oh my God, this
you're
is
right.
my fault.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like he's not thinking that. His face is his face. His face looks like he's not buying into that.
I hope so. On Friday, Todd's off to the Undertaker's to meet George and Summer. Theo insists on going along, otherwise people will talk, and they talk enough about blaming Todd for Billy's death. What the actual fuck, says Todd's eyebrows. At the Undertaker's, Summer can't stop crying, and Theo keeps saying things like, well, this is what Billy would have wanted, when he really should be keeping his fucking mouth shut. Todd has some photos of Billy and Paul to leave in the casket, and Theo has to cast an eye over them, saying what a lovely couple they were. And Todd is left wondering, what on earth is happening here?
Right.
And Summer's no use to anyone because she just can't stop crying.
And it's weird. It's weird because the way Theo is looking at the pictures of Billy and Paul, it almost makes it feel like he's regretting almost all of the shit that he gave to Todd about Billy. Mm-hmm. Like seeing those pictures of Billy with Paul
Well, that's interesting.
makes him realize that Billy was never a threat and maybe he shouldn't have murdered him after all.
Mm-hmm. Because he did murder him. Let's
Yeah.
be clear on that.
Yes. But he's like just kind of staring at the picture and, longer than he should have.
That's interesting because that wasn't what crossed my mind as to what he was doing. I thought he was substituting himself and Todd into those photos for some reason.
Oh, that's creepy.
But what I think you're getting at would suggest that the confusion that we are seeing in Todd's face isn't just roundabout, what the fuck is going on here? Why is Theo saying these things? Why won't Theo shut the fuck up?
Right. Why is
What-
Theo here with us at the...
What he might be thinking, if that's what Theo is looking like as
Right.
he's looking at the photographs, is, did you kill Billy?
Yeah. In fairness to Theo, everybody murdered Billy.
It's the
Theo-
opposite of the Orient Express.
Theo, yes, intentionally had the opportunity to save him and chose not to. But the fact that not a single one of those people, except for Todd when he woke up, were even thinking about Billy
And as far as we
until
know,
afterwards.
Todd was actually having a dream about Billy.
Right.
He just woke up and said, oh, Billy.
It was ridiculous for the rest of the week seeing people leave flowers at Billy's doorstep and talk about what a good vicar he was when none of them stepped foot in his church.
No.
And nobody, and what a great guy he was, and they're all so sad about Billy dying. Nobody tried to save him.
Yeah. Well, we can't be hypocrites either, because
we didn't
let's face
save
it,
him either.
We're all pretty glad that Billy's out of it. So that's as far as we get with the Todd storyline.
Oh, I just wanted to throttle Theo.
Yeah.
Even more than I already did.
He was bearable for an episode.
Yeah.
And
only just barely bearable for an episode.
And once again, after promising the world,
Yeah.
he starts to renege on that almost immediately.
Right, yes, because all of a sudden he's worried about what people will think, even though the only other people who are going to be there are George and Summer.
And they're not thinking it.
No.
And nobody's thinking it.
No.
And he knows that nobody's thinking it.
But does he?
Uh-huh.
Does he? Because I feel like there's a part of Theo, one of the reasons why he is the way he is because he's got that first-person narrative syndrome where he thinks everybody is thinking about him all the time, and it's paranoia from when he was in the closet.
I thought his main driver was to make Todd paranoid. He doesn't really think that, but as long as Todd thinks that, that's the important thing.
Right. I think there is a little from column A and a little from column B, because he definitely thinks he's a first person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, next story is Sucks to be a Webster. On Tuesday at the hospital, Ronnie, Kev and Abby learned that Debbie hasn't had another mini stroke, and it would appear to have been concussion that she was suffering from. Carl is also stable, much to Kev's chagrin. He had a pre-existing heart condition that was set off by the accident. They go to see Debbie, but she's already out of her bed and is going to see Carl, looking over him fondly. She's his mum.
Yeah.
She is, isn't she?
Yeah. It's ridiculous that they're waiting so long to tell us.
She informs him that he's not dead, and he gives a thumbs up. He doesn't waste time, though, checking to see what she remembers. And then when she says it's all a blur, he leads her to the conclusion that she was the one that was driving.
Yeah.
Kev comes in, catches this, and isn't taking any of this bullshit.
Nope.
Pointing out that he saw Carl driving and pulled Debbie into the driver's seat after the crash. Carl said that they swapped when Debbie smelled booze on his breath, and Debbie corroborates this. Kev can't believe that Carl will let Debbie go down for killing Billy. And
Right. Yeah, which is when I start to get really confused why anybody would blame either one of them for killing Billy when they didn't hit the minibus. The
They did.
minibus was already hit.
Oh, yeah. Well, they had that again.
Right, but that Billy was already in peril.
Mild peril.
Right, yes, but of all of them, Debbie and Carl are the least culpable because they were both passed out. And so neither one of them could say, hey, where's Billy?
Passed
Whereas
out from the booze.
everyone else could do that.
This argument continues into the corridor away from Carl when Kev points out that if she was driving, her bruises would be on her right side and they would be on her left if she was a passenger. This is clever thinking by Kev.
Yes.
Debbie says that she doesn't have any bruises because the airbags did their job. Kev says that's not what airbags do. But
Right.
he goes back to Carl and tells him that he knows he's lying and he thought Debbie would be dead, and it crossed his mind to finish Carl off, but not like that.
And also, she was examined in the hospital.
Right.
So one would imagine that she had to like put a Johnny on at some point or something. And the people at the
Put a
hospital.
what on?
A Johnny.
A Johnny?
Yeah. The little Johnny.
Stop saying Johnny. Please stop it.
That's what they're called.
That's not what all they're called. Johnnies are prophylactics.
Not here they aren't.
Where this is set, they are.
Right. But I'm talking as an American talking about this, saying
A
that.
gown.
Yeah. A Johnny gown. Anyway. Other people would have seen her bruises. They would have been documented where her bruises were.
You'd have thought.
In the doctor reports.
Yeah, for the police.
Right. And yet apparently they weren't, because the police go along with this whole Debbie was driving thing.
They just, as long as they get somebody. We see back home though, before getting a bath, Debbie checks her shoulders, and it is indeed her left side that's bruised.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah, this is important that she's not...
Right, that she's taking the blame to save Carl, supposedly.
On Thursday at hospital, the police bring back Carl's bag, and Debbie's keen to see what's in it, but Carl tells her to keep her mitts off. He changes the subject to her upcoming police interview and preps her to say that he wasn't drunk, but she wanted to swap places just to be safe. She offers him a place to stay, but he announces that he'll be back to Germany as soon as he's given the all clear. She's worried about the repercussions of her admission to driving, but he's sure it was an accident and there's going to be no case to answer. When she leaves, he checks his bag and finds that it's full of wedding gazettes. Oh, pig's tits, he says. In Inner Rolls, Kev and Abby are chatting about Carl. Abby doesn't know why Debbie would risk covering for Carl, and Kev is fucking clueless too, but insists that she knows that she wasn't driving, which is true.
Yes.
Gary has bad news for them. Liam has deleted the drone footage.
Which doesn't make sense, because it wasn't on Liam's computer. It was on Jack's computer.
But I think it was on the drone as well. It would be on the memory card for the drone.
Right. And it would also be in the cloud.
Well, probably. Tyrone gives Carl a piece of his mind when he runs into him later. Kev's marriage, my legs, what are you going to destroy next? Meanwhile,
Wait,
Debbie...
whose legs?
My legs.
My leg. It
Good times.
yeah.
Meanwhile, Debbie has drawn the most thorough female police officer since Swain was good. She's unnamed, but she's played by Michelle Tate, and I thought she was fantastic. And she tears Debbie's testimony to pieces, wondering why Debbie thought it was a good idea to replace a drunk driver with another drunk driver with dementia. And she reveals the tests from the hospital confirmed that Carl was out of his tits on fizz, and clearly blames Debbie for Billy's death.
Right. When it wasn't her fault.
Meanwhile, Kev is at Ronnie's, apologising for ruining the wedding and moaning that the cops aren't interested in his story without proof. Michael comes in as Ronnie hears from Debbie that she's been charged with death by dangerous driving and drink driving. In other words, she's fucked. Kev insists that she wasn't driving, but Ronnie's not having it. He says if she says she was driving, which is an oddly stoic position for him to take.
Right, especially since she has dementia.
Right. Meanwhile, Carl is banging on the flat door at the precinct, demanding his money from Abby. But
Abby!
He does a couple of good Abbies.
Yes.
If only I was collecting his Abbies, but I'm not.
No.
But Abby was coming back from the shops and manages to give him a complete body swerve, which was hilarious. And the look on her face.
Right, the look on her
brilliant.
face is priceless.
He heads to Debbie's to ask to stay there after all, and doesn't ask how she is or how she got on.
Yeah.
This is the cunt you're going to go to jail for, says Kev. And he's right.
Yep.
He's just sitting there in his big chair being right. Well done, Kev. I'm loving Kev this week, I swear.
Yeah, it's just too bad that the one time Kev is right, nobody believes him.
Right.
Because he's never right.
On Friday, in Inner Rolls, Ryan teases Kev with some possible info on Carl, but they're interrupted by Tyrone, who wants to make friends with Kev again. So that's one less thing to worry about.
Right. And also, Tyrone says, yeah, I think you're right about Carl being the one who put me in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
But at this point, I just don't care. And it's not worth stirring the pot.
Yeah, and he advises Kev to just let it go.
Right.
Meanwhile, Carl has finally caught up with Abby at the precinct and demands his money. She tells him
Suck my balls.
She tells him that she used it to clear her debts and that she gave the rest to Oak Hill Old Folks Home.
The hospice.
Oak Hill. Oak Hill.
Oak Hill.
Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill. Oak Hill.
Going to Oak Hill. Carl says, well, Nina, it was Debbie's money as she's been helping me out. Well, let's go speak to Debbie then, says
Right.
Abby.
And this is great.
So in the pub, I'm wondering why James is in the pub.
Well,
Oh, James is there as well, notably.
yeah.
And while Carl tries to keep everyone from talking to each other,
While making himself look suspicious as fuck.
Abby asks if Debbie gave Carl about 20 grand, and shockingly, Debbie says that she did. She's definitely his mum.
Right, yeah. And nobody says to her, are you sure, Debs? Are you sure you gave him nearly 20 grand?
And you didn't say anything to me, says Ronnie.
Right. Yeah. Finally, it kind of feels like Ronnie is done sticking up for Debbie and her dementia.
Yeah.
He's starting to move into the Kev side.
Right. Because money's been involved.
Right, yeah.
Abby wonders what sob story Carol fed her and if it was as good as the one that he told her about his gym buddy over there and the horizontal treadmill they were doing together. Carol denies it, but James admits it.
Yeah.
And apologises to Abby. And Abby apologises to Kev. And everyone apologises to Sean. And Sean does that twirly thing that he does. This is the guy you're putting your head into a noose for, says Kev. And he's right.
Yep.
Once again. God, well done, Kev.
Yeah.
Back at Debbie's, Abby's come over to apologise for spending Debbie's money on clearing her debt and that. But Debbie...
And also donating to hospice, which is a good thing. Because Debbie will probably be in hospice soon.
Debbie seems to think this whole thing is hilarious. Abby doesn't have a job, so can't pay her back. But Debbie has an idea. If she clears it with Kev, would she want to get the job back at the garage? And after a little thinking, Abby agrees. Ryan finally goes to see Kev to tell him that the books at the hotel don't add up, and he's 99% certain that Carl's had his fingers in the till, and when he can prove it, he'll be going to the police, and this pleases Kev. And that's as far as we get with that.
Yeah, yeah. And I love it because Ryan's not saying, once I can prove it, I'm going to Debbie. It's, once I can prove it, I'm going to the cops.
Right.
You know? So
Yeah.
there's no muddying things. You know, there's no Debbie trying to talk Ryan down.
Right.
Very pleased.
Very importantly.
Yes. Good job, Ryan, who is more a son to Debbie than Carl ever will be.
Oh, 100%.
He loves that woman.
Debbie and Ryan in cahoots is one of the best things that have been in the show. For the bother that the two of them got into,
Right.
and they're thick as thieves together,
Yes.
but they look out for each other.
Yes.
And that's important. And I love that relationship.
Yes. Ryan is fantastic in a maternal relationship with Debbie and in a will they, won't they relationship with Leanne. Those are my two favorite things. And they both involve Ryan.
Abby going back to the garage, though. I mean, let's act surprised, I guess, but that was always in the cards, wasn't it?
Right. Especially since Tyrone still can't work except for like doing the numbers and stuff.
And when Abby apologised after the reveal of Carol's bisexuality,
Uh-huh.
Abby apologised to Kev.
Right.
Really heartfelt.
Yes.
And Kev didn't have a snarky thing to say back to him.
Right. Which is, you know, out of character, but
Very-
I'll allow it.
Very out of character. So I can see him maybe putting up an objection
Right.
for show.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
He needs her. At least for that. And hopefully it doesn't lead to them, you know, getting back together.
Maybe we can have a man and a woman being friends with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I dislike Carl, I do think he's a good classic Coronation Street baddie.
Yes.
He's a villain for almost good reasons. They're not good reasons, but you know what I
No.
mean? He's not...
It's believable.
Yes.
He's not kidnapping anybody, and he's not making off with a lot of money from some con of a gang. He's stealing money from his sister, who may be his mother, which is, you don't get any more soap than that.
Right. And that's why I think this works and why I don't think Carl is really in any danger of going somewhere out of the show. He's never going back to Germany. This is working too well. He's a great antagonist. The bisexuality thing with James was really interesting when it happened the first time. Took us both by surprise, I think.
Yeah, but it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
It was one we enjoyed. And it's interesting because when Carl's mom died, like James was one of the first people he texted outside of the family. It's still interesting. I don't think he's going back to Germany, but I do think he's going to jail.
I think he's going to get out, going to get away with it.
I don't think so. If Ryan has proof, verifiable proof, and he goes to the cops and not to Debbie, Carl's going to jail. Because Debbie won't be able to talk out of it, I don't think.
We'll see. I think he's fairly safe for now. Our penultimate storyline is Shona Up the Duff. At Tuesday at the hospital, Shona needs to have her procedure as soon as possible and she's getting transferred to Webster General. David is fine after his seizure and is in positive spirits, even if their daughter is going to be born earlier than expected. Sarah is worried that David is putting it on, so privately he wonders, well, what the fuck do you expect me to say in this situation?
Right.
And he wheels Shona off to the transport. Mr. Lee, the surgeon, has been informed, apparently. He's a main man.
Yeah, he's a specialist from Lithuania.
As they leave, the girl from the back of the van, Jodie, is a patient now at the hospital and she watches them go.
Yes, very, very interestingly. And also, can I please point out, Sarah seems to really care here, but she doesn't care enough the next day to drive her brother to the hospital for the birth of his daughter.
And I'm glad she couldn't, because this gave us some great scenes on Wednesday.
Right, of David being totally unsafe.
Wednesday was another special episode. So far in 2026, we're averaging more than one a week.
Would you call it a special episode just because
Yes.
a baby gets born?
No, I call it a special episode because it's the one storyline.
Yeah, I suppose.
This is
okay, continue.
Sort of the two-hander, if you like. Except there's a bit more to it than
I
that.
do like a two-hander.
Oh. On Wednesday, we see a man called Vincent Harper get an early morning call, and he has to ask the caller where Weatherfield is.
Yes.
I thought it was interesting that we see Harper getting out of a bed that has someone else in it, but we don't know who that is.
Right, but also...
We also don't know who he is.
Right, yeah, I was like, wait, is this one of the Emmerdale guys back again?
Right.
Is this a farmer we missed?
David's walking David while it's still dark, but he sees Nina's Rolls lights go on. It seems Bernie couldn't sleep, so just opened up.
Yep, which is sad.
She asks about Shona, and he goes into exhaustive detail
Yes.
about the procedure that's been done today to bring the baby out. And there'll be a team for the baby and a team for Shona. Mr. Lee, the surgeon, is flown all over the world to do this surgery. That's how important he is. And
Even
so
though he's
important,
only a mister.
He gets called Mister. He's like just down from God. David gets his cuppa, and then in comes Mr. Vincent Harper after a trip from Bristol, looking for a cuppa and remarking on a newspaper story about Billy. He thinks you don't see many gay vicars, and Bernie doesn't take too kindly to this, so refuses to serve him a lunchtime pie.
Right. She's like, who told you he was gay?
Because he says he saw it in the paper, but after he leaves, Bernie's confused because there's nothing in the paper that says that Billy was gay.
Right. Well, he said he saw it in a paper. So it could have been not the Weatherfield Gazette because everybody in Weatherfield already knows Billy's gay.
You're telling me that Bernie says there was nothing in the paper to say that Billy was gay for no reason.
Well, it's just, so that she can continue to be upset because he does say in a paper. He does not say in this paper because why would he be reading the Weatherfield Gazette in his home in Bristol? I did think it was funny when he said, I just drove down from Bristol and Bernie says, oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I don't know anything about Bristol. It could be a lovely place, but it was still hilarious.
I was in Bristol once for work and it was as quick as I could get out of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's got a nice train station.
Oh, okay.
Bristol Temple Mead train station. Very nice.
Yeah.
At the hospital, the nurses are looking a bit edgy while they prep Shona, and they tell her the consultant will be in a minute for a word. David's taxi's let him down. Well done, Tim. So despite having had a seizure, David drives to the hospital.
Right, because he can't find anybody to drive him. He's got 2 siblings, a grandmother who can drive still,
She might still be in France.
and Maria. You know, he has a Maria. There's so many people who could be giving David a ride. And also, Tim's not the only cabbie who works for streetcars.
But it's good that this has happened because David has to drive himself to the hospital, and as he's waiting for a space to reverse into in the busy car park, another car nabs it. David is fucking furious, and we see the driver of the other car is, it's Mr. Harper.
From Bristol.
David calls him a clown and forces him to move.
Right, and to give credit where it's due, not everybody would move
No.
and apologize, but this guy does.
Yeah, he's already a lovely man.
Yeah. Even if he does think Billy is gay.
He thinks it's ironic. I was like, oh, what does that mean?
Yeah.
If you think
I
that.
think this is why Bernie was a little upset when he said it.
100%, yeah. He rushes to see Shona, David that is, and we learn that Mr. Lee is a no-show and it'll be one of his on-call trained surgeons who'll be doing the surgery.
He's stuck in Lithuania.
And in walks, it's Mr. Harper. Oh, pig's tit, says David. Mr. Harper tells David that he's left his lights on.
Which was funny.
Shona's furious about this. And just in case we didn't spot it, in Corriedales, we see Jodie again and her tree tattoo just before we see Shona's identical tree tattoo on her back.
Right. It's kind of funny that one has the tree tattoo on her wrist and the other one on their back. Typically, when you get matching tattoos, they're on like
the same part
of the body.
or the opposite
right,
side.
yeah. Why don't we have a sharing tattoo?
No. But, so I've got tattoos on my inner arm.
Right.
And my inner arm, I always see them upside down.
Right. Yeah.
But everyone else looks at them the right way up.
Yes.
Her tree, she sees it the right way up. The tree is at the tree root is at the elbow end, and the tree canopy is at the wrist end, which I thought was weird.
Some people get it that way. But, I mean, you're right, because my cross is upside down to me, which, has connotations of its own.
Oh, yes, doesn't it? Slayer fan. So Jodie is waiting outside maternity as she steals a stuffed rabbit from someone else's gift bag and dodges through the door when she sees David leave. She goes to Shona's room, then has a good old sniff of her coat.
Which is creepy.
The surgery goes well, but Harper has to do a tracheostomy when he can't move the mass on the baby's neck. David gets the news that the baby and Shona are stable. This is good news, David, despite the tracheostomy. We also learn that it's Mr. Harper's birthday, the worst day of the year, the 7th of January. David goes to see the small fake baby and talks to her about Shona and how awesome she is and how worried everyone was, but he knew that she wouldn't let them down.
And it is shocking how big that tumor is.
It is, isn't it? It's the size of her head.
It's bigger than her head. It's like her whole neck is tumor. The way that they were talking, it made it sound like it was more manageable. So I was a little confused when the doctor's like, oh, I can't get the air tube in because the tumor is blocking. I was like, wow, that doesn't sound like that would be happening. But then when you see how big this tumor is that they gave this poor robot baby,
Yep.
It's just, who is creepy as fuck. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Somebody made that.
I'm so sorry. But it gives me Eraserhead vibes. And I can't get it out of my head. Which is weird because, Eraserhead is in black and white. Mm-hmm. So you don't see, that baby being like this creepy, weird purple color. Yeah. Which is part of the reason why this baby is so creepy. And also because they never film like the whole creepy robot baby. Yeah. Sometimes it's just her eyeball. And that's creepy.
They're going to be living in the radiator. I'm trusting the audience to get an Eraserhead joke. David warns the baby about the extended family. They're all fucking psychos.
Right, yeah. It's like, and you have a brother named Max, who
He's
you probably never meet, because he's in jail watching How I Met Your Mother.
He's a racist. Mr. Harper comes in and talks David through the tracheostomy and how it's temporary and will be removed when her breathing is strong enough. David apologises about the parking stuff. He blames stress. Harper says, that's fine, I just missed the sign for staff parking. But now he needs to go because he's got a Pegasaurus birthday cake waiting for him. David is thrilled to learn the surgeon and his daughter share a birthday. He thanks him and calls him Mr. Harper. I love this fucking doctor. He goes back to Nina's Rolls for that pie he was refused earlier. Bernie tells him that Billy was her son-in-law and he was a good man despite his demons, and she's crushed he's gone. Harper says that he's genuinely sorry. Bernie gives him tea and pie on the house. It's later than you think, she says. I thought that was an interesting turn of phrase.
Yeah, kind of like creepy and stuff.
It's later than you think in terms of the time of day, because he says it's lunchtime, which
Right.
would mean that surgery was done in like a couple of hours, which I don't think is possible.
No.
But also, you don't know how much time you've got,
Right.
basically.
Yeah, which I think is what Bernie was talking
Yeah,
about.
I think so too. David takes Shona to see her daughter and they chat about names. David suggests Harper Platt, which sounds like the sort of girl who'd smash through walls for you. And we see Jodie is watching the scene through the ward window like a total midnight creeper. And speaking to an extra...
And yet, David and Shona don't notice
Nope.
her.
Speaking to an extra, we get confirmation of what we already had worked out. Jodie is Shona's sister.
Right, yeah, because the extra says, proud mom? And she says, no, proud auntie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird that lady says proud mom because you can see Shona inside with the baby.
Yes. On Thursday, Shona is wheeled back to see Harper, but then notices a strange rabbit toy on the incubator. In the corridor, David nearly bumps into Jodie and she asks if the baby was born. David confirms to this perfect stranger that they had a girl. Later, the stress is getting to Shona and David comforts her while Jodie, again, creepily looks on through that bloody window. It really needs blinds.
Yeah, and they really need to notice her. How do you feel about the name Harper?
I quite like it.
Yeah, I'm just grateful that it's not a J name.
Yeah, we've got far too many J names.
Right, and it's not a name of somebody else on the street.
I did think, is this the name of a character who's going to survive?
Well, I mean, the odds are already stacked against that baby. Because that tumor's massive.
And she's super premature.
Yeah. Yeah, because wasn't she supposed to be born in March?
March or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a long fight ahead of her.
And also
but
she's-
hey, we've still got 4 quads, so who knows?
And also, she's a creepy robot.
On Friday, David and Shona are chatting about the future when Jodie comes into their room and Shona's like she's seen a ghost. Hello, sis, says Jodie. Jodie says it was just luck that she found her when she saw the two of them in the hospital. She can't believe it, and nor can Shona. Jodie says that she left a bunny, which makes David super suspicious for some reason. Shona says that she's pleased to see her and everything, but she's got an awful lot going on right now. She can't quite do this, so she tells Jodie just to leave her number. Jodie doesn't take this well, starts to cry, and leaves. What the fuck was that all about, says David. And that's as far as we get with that this week.
Right, yes. So David didn't know that Shona had a sister named Jodie, apparently.
And nor did we.
No.
Do we care?
I think eventually we'll care when we find out why she was locked in the back of that van
Right.
by Graham Foster,
Well done.
who's supposed to be dead.
Yes.
And also apparently is a contract killer or something.
So it would seem
Right,
he's John Wick.
right. Where he's like, the contract is canceled. I have something else to do.
Yeah.
Which makes you worry for somebody in Emmerdale.
I will see you at the Ambassador Hotel. Is it the Ambassador Hotel?
I think so.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Where we'll talk to Ian
McShane.
McShane.
Is it?
I think so.
Lovejoy? TV's Lovejoy?
Yeah. Ian McShane. I love him. He's great.
I think we're meant to care that Shona has a secret sister. And,
Yes.
I really don't. And I'm not sure why I don't.
It
Because
makes me
Jodie
wa-
seems like an interesting character. And Lord knows they've given her a really interesting entrance into the show.
Right, and
given that she's
also-
been born in the back of a van, pretty much.
Right. And also, she's cast really well because
Oh my
those two
God.
women definitely look like sisters.
So well done.
So well done. Bravo show for finding somebody who looks like Shona.
Yeah, it's to the point where the tree tattoos really were unnecessary.
Yeah, I like them though. I like them because it implies that at some point there was a really special
They were very close.
there
yeah.
was a really special bond because I can't imagine having a matching tattoo with any of my siblings.
No.
And they all have tattoos. So the opportunity is there, but we will never take it.
To be fair, I don't think they'd have any of yours either.
No. I was kind of thinking like, well, maybe.
No.
No.
I do like the look of this Jodie character.
Yeah.
She's She's clearly got her demons.
Right.
She stole the bunny rabbit.
Right.
She was tied up in a van.
Right.
That girl has some stories to tell.
Yes.
I'm sure. But
And
so did Shona.
Right. Yeah. Also, when you think about the things that we know about Shona's childhood, you're like, yeah. Because we know Shona's seen some stuff.
Oh, yeah. She has nightmares, definitely.
So it does feel kind of weird that this is the first time we've gotten any intimation that Shona has a sister, especially since she has a dead son as well. So what's his name? Oh, he's not dead.
No.
He's in jail.
Clayton's in jail. Clayton Hibbs. He can't run.
No, he can't run through a cemetery.
No.
Whose funeral were they at?
Clayton's dad's.
Okay. It's kind of weird Shona went to that. Although maybe not.
She went to it for Clayton, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And then he did a zigzag.
And then he kidnapped her.
Right. And then,
And then she ran out of and then she ran back in.
right, yeah,
with the
they played
groundhog.
the Benny Hill theme throughout the whole thing.
Yakety sax. I agree that David in the Wednesday episode, and actually all through this week, has been a really good partner to Shona here. I liked Wednesday's episode, I think, more than Corriedales.
Yeah, no, me too.
Because it was
Because I cared about the whole thing.
It was a episode that was all about character and emotion and nothing else. I think it appealed to the people who don't like all the bells and whistles and
Right.
the explosions and the fancy camera angles
Yeah.
and the strange aspect ratios and
Right.
and it being too dark.
So me.
Yeah, and this was mostly set in a hospital that is far too bright.
Right. Well,
So-
hospitals tend to be too bright in my experience.
Yeah, which is correct. So
Right, yes. And it's also about people that we care about and stories that are feasible.
So this whole story this week, I thought, was a great addition to the more fiery, explosive stuff that was going on. This was a nice
Correct.
antidote to that, and the
Yes.
fact that they gave Wednesday over to it in its entirety
Right.
really was a bit of a palate cleanser against all the octane drama of Monday.
And also Theo.
Yeah. Our final storyline tonight, The Lonely Grave of Tia Wardley. On Tuesday,
Why are we still calling it that?
until something better comes along. On Tuesday, Carla runs into Swain and Betsy in the hospital corridor, and boy, is it awkward.
Which is it kind of weird that now that they're all safe, Carla is like, well, wait a second. I'm not taking you back yet. Even though I ran and desperately tried to save your life. And you believe me now.
Yeah, I think she's totally...
I think she has a point, but it's just weird after the juxtaposition of Corriedale, where she's like, fuck it, I don't want to save my life. I want to make sure that Lisa and Betsy are fine.
That's love for you.
But then all of a sudden, she's not quite as in love.
Yeah, that's love for you. She still does love Swain. They get back home, where it continues to be awkward. Betsy the moron thinks that Swain should have let Becky go, because now Becky could say that Swain covered for her home. Maybe Betsy's not quite the fucking moron I thought she was. Swain realises this. Betsy storms upstairs without apologising to Carla for being such a cow. Swain doesn't know what to say to Carla, but Carla wants to know if it was true that Swain slept with Becky, and when Swain can't answer, Carla leaves.
Yeah.
Between this and the fact that she was running away to Spain with Becky, it's all a bit too much. Yeah, none of this makes Swain look like the brain I've written here.
No.
On Thursday, in the pub, all the people who went in Corriedales are chatting about all the big ticket moments from Corriedales.
Right. And all of them acting like they're really sad that Billy's dead.
When Kit comes in, they pounce, demanding to know what the deal is with Becky. How did they find Carla? Who was the man with the gun? And then Kit does a Grandpa Simpson, walking into the burlesque and then walks straight back out again.
Yes.
He
With his
has-
pork pie hat.
He heads to work where he speaks to Swain, and we learn that Costello claims that Becky was threatening his family.
Which he was.
Yeah. Swain can't believe she trusted Becky, and she asks Kit why he didn't tell her about his suspicions, and he says,
I did, you stupid idiot.
"You just weren't listening." And it was Carla who got to the bottom of it, along with Sarah. How do I get Carla to forgive me, says Swain. Say sorry, says Kit.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Sarah noticed that that the photos were photoshopped.
To be fair,
Sarah!
To be fair, though, if there's one thing that Sarah's going to notice, it's an engagement ring.
Yeah, that's true. Or a decent pair of leather pants.
Right. It's cleverly done, I think.
Right.
That Sarah's the character that notices the first thing that she's going to look at. Oh, what does her ring look like? Oh, wait a minute. That's the ring that I've been given.
Right.
That it makes sense that it's her.
Yeah.
It's out there, but yeah.
But I mean, the whole reason why Kit is investigating this in the first place is because Sarah's like, it doesn't make any sense that she's not responding to her emails.
Yeah.
So if it
She
weren't for
notices the behavior.
if it weren't for Sarah, Carla would still be in that
Shipping container.
shipping container.
Halfway to Mexico by now.
Yes. Probably
Ay,
better
caramba.
off.
Yeah. On Friday, I think her kidney meds would probably be cheaper. Swain's got a letter from Weddy Nick. I wonder what that's all about, Helen. Carla comes over and tells her that she'll be round at 4 to get more of her stuff. Swain says, well, I'll see you later then. And Carla says, that's not what I meant.
No, but also Kit asks her if she got anything interesting in the mail. And she's like, nah, it's all junk.
But Swain comes home to talk anyway. But Carla says it was all said and done when she got her hold of a Becky in their bed. Swain thinks everyone makes mistakes and she demands her right to explain herself. Her excuse, though...
That's a big-ass mistake there, Missy.
Her excuse, though, was that she didn't know Becky at all. But Carla knew.
Right.
And Carla tried to tell Swain.
Yeah.
And
She's
Swain
like,
ignored her.
Kit and I knew, and you didn't listen.
And was going to flee the country.
Right.
Yeah, that flee the country thing.
Yeah, you can't
get beyond that.
No, you gave her your phone.
Swain pretends that this was all about protecting Betsy, but admits she's been a fucking moron. And it's Carla she really loves. And she intends to explain this to Becky when she goes to visit her in prison later today.
Right. And Carla says, what the actual fuck? Why did I save your life, madam?
This does it. This about does it for Carla, who's had enough. Becky snaps her fingers and Swain goes running.
Right, yeah. Yeah. It's like, why would you even remotely consider going to visit her in prison?
If she was dead to her, Swain would ignore her. But Swain goes to see Becky anyway to say goodbye, that she was happy with Carla, but Becky came along to destroy everything. Becky's told nothing but lies and tried to kill the love of her life, and she wishes Becky's funeral had been for real. Well, says Becky, maybe you'll end up looking like an accessory here. Swain never asked how the mortgage got paid off so quickly because she didn't want to hear the answer. Was she just fucking stupid, or was she up to her neck in it? And Becky promises to make sure the jury will see it as the latter. And that, finally, is how we end this week's episodes.
Yeah. I'm glad that actual characters are pointing out how stupid Lisa's been, including Becky.
Everyone's telling her now.
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous because she keeps trying to fob it off at everybody else. Why did you guys tell me? And they are all like, we did try to tell you. You didn't want to listen. Mm-hmm. Which is a fair point. It's like, oh, no, Carla, you're the love of my life. Then why didn't you listen to me? Mm-hmm. And why are you going to see Becky in jail? Because if she refused, if she never went, then Becky wouldn't have the satisfaction of threatening her.
Right.
Which is exactly what she's doing here.
How did Becky see that going to not threaten her? What would have needed to happen for Becky not to threaten her with that? Or was she always going to threaten her with it? Because Becky says to her, be careful about what you wish for here and be careful about how much you're picking at this because basically I can make your life really hard here.
Yeah.
So for Becky not to do that, what was she expecting Swain to say? For Swain to say that she loves her and she'll wait for her? Or
Right. The person who arrested her. It makes it feel like Becky is more delusional than we first expected. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the only way she can threaten her is by Swain showing up. So if Swain had never shown up to talk to Becky in prison, Becky wouldn't. The threat would be empty because it would be pointless because Swain doesn't get to hear it. It's the threat that is giving Becky pleasure here.
But this is asking us to extend our Swain's sudden lack of intelligence over a course of years, that saying that she was only really intelligent when she was at work. Because what Becky's saying is, thanks to whatever this was with the gang, thanks to that, I was able to pay off the mortgage really quickly, and you never asked me how.
Right. The mortgage to their old house, right? Yeah.
The one that...
Because I was kind of confused because, and like, she didn't pay off that mortgage for Carla's house.
No, this is
their house before,
4
right?
years ago, yeah. And Swain never asked. But to be fair, if we've got a 25-year mortgage, and you ask me after 15 years, how much we still got to pay on the mortgage, and I say, I was able to pay it off early. Would you be interested in knowing how?
I would probably say, oh, wow, how did you manage that? You know, because I'd want to know, because it does feel suspicious that all of a sudden you have enough money to pay the mortgage off.
Right.
Regardless. And also, I know how you are with money.
Right.
Tight as fuck. Or,
I'm Scottish.
In fairness, you act tight as fuck, but then you spend the money anyway. You just give me a hard time about it, which is abuse.
Wait to give you a hard time about it.
Financial abuse. Like every time I ask you to pay something, and then you pay it anyway. But you give me a hard time, and you've admitted that you give me a hard time, you know, just because you're Scottish and you're tight, which is fine.
Okay.
It does feel like abuse, though.
Oh, well.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you would, especially if you were both essentially in the same job, making the same amount of pay. I feel like you would be suspicious. But it's not even just suspicion. It's like, oh, that's cool. How'd you do that? You know? And it's weird that Lisa never did that. Did we know that she had paid off the mortgage to their old house?
No, this is new information, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It feels like the show is just continuously rewriting Lisa's life. And it's annoying.
Yeah, I mean, we got the satisfaction of the arrest, and I think Carla's annoyance now is, it felt like it was for the audience more than anything else.
Well,
just for someone just to be pissed off at this and be annoyed at Swain. And
well, I mean, I do kind of understand when you think that the person you love's life is in danger. You know, you're a lot more forgiving until you know that they're safe. And then you're like, all right, now that you're safe, we need to talk about this other bullshit. You know, it's like when we're mad at the kids because they're out so late and we're worried that, you know, they've gotten into a car accident or something and we're worried about them. And then as soon as they get home, we're mad at them. Or is that just me?
I think that would just be you.
You never worry when the kids are out with a car in the middle of the night with the snow?
I wasn't aware that they ever were out in the middle of the night in the snow.
Like when Stella has a late shift or something.
Oh, in town? No, don't worry about that.
So much can happen in half a mile. Anyway.
Nothing interesting.
That's what you think. Anyway. I just, you know, I was really disappointed because I thought maybe this storyline was over.
Yeah, I thought if it was going to end in the back of that ambulance, it was going to be a travesty and such a damp squib ending.
But also, we were really hoping that this is a storyline we don't like. So the sooner it ends, the better.
And maybe I think Becky's all bluster, or there's far too much evidence that she doesn't know about that gets uncovered. And
I'm sure
Costello's going to have something to say
Costello
about
has
it.
evidence that she was threatening his family.
Right.
And also, you know, there's Carla's testimony that she was kidnapped by this woman. And also the testimony of the fact that she pretended to be dead for years.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Becky's going to try and say that Swain was aware of all that, which
right.
I think it's a stretch.
Yeah, me too.
And we know that Carla and Swain are going to get back together again. And it's just a matter of time. And I think they're probably going to do it sooner rather than later. And what we're going to be asked to believe when we reset Swain is, that wasn't really Swain. That wasn't really Swain that was doing all those stupid things and ignoring all those red flags. And
I don't know. She was pretty stupid before Becky came back. We were already complaining that they messed up Swain's character.
I don't think it's severely as I have here. Anyway.
That
was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, what was your moment of the week?
The birth of baby Harper. That whole episode was great.
Yeah, that episode was fantastic. I agree. That is our...
Sorry, Corriedale.
The week.
And that's not to say that I didn't enjoy Corriedales, because I really did enjoy
There were
it.
parts of Corriedales that were good, and then there were parts that weren't.
I think I enjoyed most of it.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the lead up to it as well. I thought they did it well. And I think getting everything in the right place, all your ducks in a row, going into something as big as this on 2 separate shows, I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I guess.
So, good for them. But yeah, that notwithstanding, the birth of Harper is our moment of the week.
Yes.
And your boring moment of the week?
You know, I kind of feel like everybody acting like Billy was their best friend after his death was kind of repetitive and boring and ridiculous. Especially since half of those people were there and couldn't be bothered to get him out of the van. Because I can't really... Because Daniel is barely in it this week.
Yeah.
And the one thing that Ken's in, I really enjoyed.
Oh, the thing that I've... An honorary moment of the week was Sally doing her dance where she
With
grabs...
her leg, yeah. And then later, she's sore.
And she's leaning against...
Mary. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was great.
That was tremendous.
Yeah.
Duncan Foster, off the show, said that he threw that in there just to add a little bit of colour to that scene.
Right, and comedy.
Oh, perfect.
Comedy
Because
gold.
It was funny seeing Sally do the dance.
Right.
But then to see her in the state she was.
Right,
28
realizing that
seconds
maybe
later,
she's a little too old to be doing that dance anymore.
a brilliant topper to that joke.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So we're saying that the boring moment of the week is the general apathy of all the auxiliary characters to
Right, everybody
Billy.
pretending that Billy was their best friend.
That'll do.
Boring moment of the week.
It's like, it's one thing is like one person, but then all these people just like chucking flowers at his front door,
Yeah.
as opposed to, I don't know, bringing flowers to Summer and talking to Summer
Yeah.
and telling Summer how sorry they are for Summer's loss.
Evil dies tonight!
Oh, sorry, I honestly hit the wrong button there.
You did not.
Move on to our Yay Minutes section of the show, where we ask our Twitter followers what they think about this week's episodes. Half-hour episodes, no less.
Yeah.
And the voting was 4.1%,
Yeah, there you go.
meh 16.2%, and yay 79.7%.
I think that's, it hasn't been that high in a while.
I was pretty high last week.
Right. And then there was like a week. What was it that happened that week that was like really, really high? And we were really happy with the show.
I think it was Mason's death week.
Mason's death week was good. Mm-hmm. No offense to Mason, who is dead.
Moon says, I've read this 3 times and I still don't know what you're asking. Thanks very much. And Nikki says, I don't like the 30-minute episodes. I can't disagree more. I love the 30-minute episodes.
Are they all going to be like every day of the week? Is that
It's every
forever?
day of the week. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. For half an hour.
Yeah, I hate that.
You do?
It means I have to watch Coronation Street every day.
Well, you don't. You can watch them all on Fridays.
Yeah, but I don't. I watch them every
Well,
single
you
day
used
because I
to.
have time now.
Watching a 22-minute episode is so much less of an investment than 44. And it feels like the episodes are just so tightly written and planned. There's so little baggage. There's storylines that would have like 8 scenes over a 44-minute episode, and they maybe get 3 or 4 at a push in 22 minutes. It just feels that all the bits and pieces of people walking somewhere and all that confusion just seems to be much less when it's just a 22-minute episode. I'm really digging it so far, and I've been looking forward to it since it was announced. So I'm really pleased. I'm a very strong advocate for that. But anyway, we don't let those scores or opinions influence our scores. So, Helen, what would you give this week's episodes out of 10?
Yeah, 8.5.
8.5 for me as well.
Yeah. I still don't care about Emmerdale, but...
I think I'm going to start watching Emmerdale.
Well, you don't have neighbors anymore, so I guess...
need something, right?
You need something. Meanwhile...
And I just can't watch Home and Away. I don't know why.
Meanwhile, I'm busy watching cinematic masterpieces like 2001: A Space Odyssey and Whiplash.
This week's let's wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast: Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, Inks Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Brittany Porter, Laurie, Anna, Tina, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Silmer Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corriedales, Matthew McKenney, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, Rachel B, Uranium Jennifer, Catherine Montero, and Gary Heatley. Thank you ever so much, folks. We really appreciate it, and thank you for your support. If you've ever left Billy to die, write in to tell us about it. We're the talkofthestreet@gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in this month's classics, we're talking about episode 742. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast at ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street, patreon.com/the Talk of the Street, or youtube.com/the Talk of the Street podcast. Check out voggle.co.uk for links to a merch store, YouTube channel and blog. And if you're so inclined, please leave a rating and a review on the iTunes or your podcast provider of choice. And be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
Give Timmy the Oscar already.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street, y'all.
Bye.
Cheerio.